for Mr. Giovanni. The first one wasn't a bad punch. Good shot from the outside by Hardy, but here, this is where he's betraying Nestor Giovanni.
Yes, what's up? Can you hear me all right, man? It's a Triple B right here. Can you tell me how you hear? Because in this mask, you can't see a lot, man. But this is especially, I did it an hour early because I was awake, and this is for the Australians and New Zealanders and Samoans. It's their time. So can you tell me if you can hear me all right? I can't see you that well, even. I'll boom you. I'll know you won't boom me. I'll knock you out, John Fury. Yep, my kind, working around the clock, 24/7 around the globe. By the way, can you tell me, can you hear my voice okay through this mask? Because for me, it's an echo chamber. I feel like I'm wearing a gas mask in the First World War. Have you seen the film, All Quiet on the Western Front? It's like that. Yeah. Comes up on a top fun for me funds. That's it, right? Jared, my boy Jared. Hey, bro. Sounds good. I'm glad to hear it. I don't know how long I can last with the Pepe mask because this is like, it feels claustrophobic. You know what I'm saying? It feels very claustrophobic. It feels like, you know, like I said, I'm in the First World War, you know, All Quiet on the Western Front. And he puts on the gas mask and he can't see properly, he can't breathe properly. It's like that. Or at least I don't have to face any guns. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of your people tonight. Shalom taking care of our Aussie fans. Yes, for a good gent. Yes. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Why are you being so antiseptic? Why are you so antiseptic? Damn, it's hard to see out of this thing. I might have to take it off in a minute. You look like Charlie Parsons crossed with Freddy the Frog. No, man, this is Pepe, man. If you don't know who Pepe is, come on, man. You must know who Pepe is. Lay Taylor, it's claustrophobia. Prejudice in small spaces. What about small hats? Owen Foster, yeah, what's up, man? What's up? It's great to see the British fans. The global fans are here for the Triple B, and we're here for a one. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm training again. I think I want to fight bare knuckle. You know, I seen a guy the other day, way older than me, fighting in BKFC. You know what I'm saying? Chaz the Bomb Simmons. He got knocked out, but you know. Ozzy, how is your border situation? Don't blame me. Oy vey. Don't be antiseptic. Right. When I get 10 viewers, I've only got 8. It's early in the morning. Well, not in Australia. I was hoping to get 10. Okay, I'm going to take this hat off. Give me a second. Let me take this off. I'm going to take Pepe off in a minute because it's difficult, man, to read. And I feel like I'm going mad. I'm not living in the real world. Yeah, I feel like I'm going mad. Yeah, so what's going on? Jeff the Hitman Hardy. Did you like the intro? He was my favorite Aussie fighter ever. He had so much heart, guts, chin. He wasn't a massive puncher, but he fought that way, aggressively. He, very tough, great chin. He stopped a lot of people. You know, he lost to a few guys at, you know, at the top. I think Mike McCallum, did he? Did he lose to Mike McCallum? Let me take this off so I can read things better. So say goodbye to Pepe. Say goodbye to Pepe, but don't say goodbye to Pepe in your heart. Hey, we back. Yes, we come from the land down under. What do you think of my name, brother? Aussie fans joining Edamat Rabbi Shmuley. That guy's creepy. He's like a demon, man. Oy vey, shut it down. There'll be another show. I'm gonna get in trouble, guys. No, don't shut it down. You can't do nothing about it. Some people say the tide is changing, but I don't know about that. I think it's a false. I mean, you don't let go of control. Anyway, loads of people know what's going on, but loads of people also. Oh, I can't wait for the next Strictly Come Dancing. Yo, Chubby, this is early live. You been on the Yayo or something? Bad boy Randall. Hey, it's good to see you, brother. I like your dog. No, I specifically said, if you saw in the thumbnail and when I talked last night, I did this before. When I wanted to, because me Aussie fans, when I do me lives, you know, it's I don't know, all times of Australia's obviously got a time difference from east to west, but you know, it's a time usually when a lot of Aussies are asleep. But I got so many good Australian fans. Where are my Australian fans? Oh, my boy, Dan Morphy, my Irish brother, who lives, I believe, in Aussie. Hello, brother. How's it going? Well, I've got Jared. I've got Dan Morphy. I want Cyborg. I think Boxing Classics HQ is from Australia, but I might have that wrong. Yeah, I'm related to that lizard you mentioned. Yeah, it's funny you should say that, you know, because let me show you something. I told you about the salamander in one of my videos, yeah, didn't I? So they sent the DNA, one guy, to prove how ridiculous all these ancestry.com, you know, and all these kind of 23andMe things, to prove that it was a load of nonsense, yeah, someone took a swab from their salamander, okay? Let me see if I can find it. They took a swab from their salamander, and I'll show you the picture when I find it. And you know, and the question was, this is what it came back as, yeah, 49% Western European and 51% Ashkenazi Jew. So this is how he dressed his salamander. I mean, this is serious. This is a guy on the basket weaving forum who posted it. So it shows you how ridiculous it is. They said, "Hey, Mr. Shmuley, this is your this is your blood. This is your blood." Cyborg is in the house. God bless you. Good. Ain't no Aussie live without a Cyborg in the house. Who you got, Triple B, next week for Nick Borby, Sam Goodman? So I need to look at Sam Goodman. He's Australian, right? I've always thought Nick Ball will not last that long. He'll be one of those fighters that will, because of his high work rate, that's necessary, and the way he fights. I mean, he's quite crude. So he's, you know, he hasn't got the start. I mean, he's well to beat Raymond Ford. So this Sam Goodman, is 20 wins, 8 KOs. So he's not a puncher. But people think Nick Ball's this massive puncher. I even saw some idiot call him. I mean, you know, the things they come out with. The featherweight version, white version of Mike Tyson. Yeah, really. Let's look at Nick Ball's record: 22 wins and 13 KOs. So he's got a 59% KO ratio, which for a midget isn't bad. Better than Sonny Edwards, but you know his big victories. Let's see what he's got. What is his big victories? Raymond Ford is probably his best victory. He stopped Ronnie Rios. He stopped TJ Doheny, but they're not that good. Split with Ray Vargas, which I thought he won. So like, yeah, he could punch. He ironed out Tyson Fury's little midget cousin, as at low. So Sam Goodman, let's have a look. Do I see anything good on his record? I think he's moving up in weight though, so he is strong ball. They both fought Doheny. Goodman went on points. Nick Ball stopped him. But, I don't know the midget divisions as well as, the heavyweights, obviously. The heavyweights are the Kangs, but the middleweights is, I can't really take anyone seriously who's only 9 stone and 5'2". So I don't recognize any names on this guy's, ledger. But so I assume what will happen is Nick Ball will outwork him. But I haven't watched Goodman, obviously, because I've got better things to do, like washing my hair, like watching vinyl paint dry. Okay. But I look at odds checker and see. It's always interesting to see what the odds are. See what we can find out on odds checker. See what the price is. I think we will find that Nick Ball will be a pretty heavy favorite. When is this bloody fight? When is Nick Ball? I can't seem to find it. What's the date for the Nick Ball fight? Come on. Oh, there you go. Nick Ball, Sam Goodman. Sam Goodman's 4-1. Method of victory. Nick Ball by KO 1.8. Ball by decision 3.5. Goodman by decision 7. So for me, value-wise, just looking at the records, I haven't seen Goodman. Goodman on points at 7.0. That's 6-1. Isn't bad. Or Nick Ball by decision at 3.5 because I think they overrate Ball's power. Yeah. I made an article on why he's an anti-Semite. Well, if you read the Bible, what do you get? What do you get? Read it. God bless you. Well, God bless you, by the way. Oh, God bless you. What do you read about in the Bible? All you hear is about a people that say they follow God, but they repeatedly break the law, worship golden calves, disobey God, and then, of course, crucify Jesus Christ. Call for his crucifixions. The Romans didn't want. They were like, he's done nothing wrong. So, I mean, and then you have to look at future behavior, And what's the best predictor of future behavior? Past behavior. Also, what you've got to understand is the majority of people who claim to be from that tribe are converts. They're false. They have no DNA or cultural link to the Middle East. Anyway, Disco Dave, I like was Bonnie Blue before she got kicked out from the Kangaroo Man. Only Aussie I like was Bonnie Blue before she got kicked out from the Kangaroo government. Isn't she that old? What do you mean? Was she in the government? Are you serious, man? I don't. No prawn actresses, basically hookers, do I care about? I remember we were shitting lampades in the shtetl. Shuli said that they just carry on reading the Talmud. Yeah, all that stuff stopped. Did you notice that? All the claims about I've got to be a bit careful, by the way. But all the claims about soaps and skin being used for lampshades suddenly stopped. Why? Because DNA. They would be DNA tested. Well, of course, they never appeared. There's also all kinds of weird stories, but I can't. This is him in demon form. Yeah, he's evil. And even just looking at that picture, I'm like, leave me alone. Gerard, I love that lizard. Yeah, I'll show the lizard again. It was so funny, man. But it shows you what nonsense this thing was. Like I said, yeah. The other thing is, shalom, shalom, my fellow whites, shalom. But yeah, the other funny thing was, like I said, the Tanzanian. Well, it's not funny because the poor guy got whacked, but the Tanzanian guy sent off a swab from a mango on a goat, and apparently both had COVID. He never sleeps. Yes, brother. Oh, I said you were an Aussie. Are you an Aussie? Remind me. I can't remember. I mean, I've got so many great funds, but my memory isn't great. But yeah, hopefully all the Aussies are here. Obviously, we've got my boy Cyborg. Sports bet. Australia's 1.0. Goodman's 5.3. Yeah, great. Well, I could get 5.0 here in the UK. But I think Goodman on points at 7.0 is not a bad bet. But I haven't watched him, but it's not a bad bet. That's not a bad bet. Yeah. Adelaide might be an okay pick. Ergovic has been looking in great shape. Let's see if I can get his Instagram up. Because Ergovic has actually got a six-pack, which he's never had before. We used to have this sort of flabby six-pack. I know that sounds weird. Let's see. Ergovic. Look, he's looking in fantastic shape. He's looking in fantastic shape. So I've got a bet on for Ergovic to stop Adelaide. It's only a 10-rounder, I believe, which is annoying. Because, Ergovic can stop people late, including that bum, Dylan McKean or whatever. But, yeah, he's... So I looked at the price. It was 2.8 for Ergovic by KO. I was like, I need to jump on that. But then I messed around and forgot to do it. And 2 days later, I went back. And as I knew would happen, the price had dropped to 2.4. I knew 2.8 was way too high a price. Yeah. I know he's on the white undercard for sure. For sure. I know. They're two decent fights, but it's not a pay-per-view bill. What's going on the handshake next week? Trump or Putin? I think Trump is undefeated. Oh, who's going to win the handshake? Trump. You know what? We all know he's a controlled asset, right? He loves a certain Middle Eastern country to which he gives billions of pounds in aid. But he's quite funny. He's quite funny and quite sharp, He rinsed that vile, lying scumbag who's also alleged to be involved in human trafficking and selling Ukraine resources illegally. He's got a confirmed, confirmed. It's alleged that he's got an $850 million fortune, including a 35 million pound mansion in Miami. And I told a normie, every time I say, it's disgusting what Putin's doing. He's like, and I'm like, what do you mean? You mean the war? I go, it's not that simple. I talked about Crimea. I talked about how a lot of people who live in Ukraine actually want to be part of Russia. And they were all put down in 2014, for complaining. And I talked about Zelensky being a fake and how much money he rinsed out of Ukraine while sending all these poor, young Christian men to war to be slaughtered for him. And I told him about the 850 million and 35 million. And instead of going, oh, really? No way. Oh, check it out. He said, I need to see more proof before I believe that. I said, well, go and have a look. Why do I, go, I haven't got time to have a look. What do you mean you haven't got time to search on the internet? People are pathetic. It depends how you define Europe. The Khazar region is not really that European, is it? Putin's better in the later rounds. Yeah. Bossy Classics, I control both sides. I decide who wins. Yeah, well, that's basically right. I'm not, but I'll support the Aussies this morning. Oh, sorry, bro. I don't know why I thought. I remember I wasn't sure. I know we've got Cyborg, Jarrod, Dan Morphy. Have you changed your mind on all? On what, bro? Otto saying Ergovic has never failed a test. Oh, sure he hasn't. Morning, doing another one. Hello, Mike. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mr. Maloney? Yeah. I'm doing an early one because I promised that I did this about, I don't know, a couple of years ago, because I've got a lot of nice Aussie funds. And, you know, I wanted to, usually I do my lives between 6, 8, 9, 10 UK time, but, you know, that's in the middle of the night or early morning for Aussies. So I thought I'd do one especially for me Aussie funds and celebrate my favorite Aussie fighter, Jeff Hitman Harding. Anyone from Australia, can you tell me how the Hitman's getting on? Because you just don't hear about him. Obviously, he's not from, you know, the UK, and sometimes they kind of hide Aussie fighters. You know what I mean? They don't celebrate them as much because they're in Australia. But I heard that he went through a real bad patch and was a bit of he liked to get his drink on. Have you changed your mind on the cave dweller and the white rhino? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. The cave dweller will batter the rhino, in my opinion, stop him between round 6 and 8. I already put my money down. Definitely not changing my mind. I don't know. I'll tell you, I don't think the prices have changed much, but I told you they would change. They changed from Dave Allen being a slight favorite to Dave Allen being a slight underdog. But the ridiculous things, the KO odds for Makhmudov are almost exactly the same as to win. So don't bet on Makhmudov KO. Bet to win. You never know, because you might get a technical decision. Yeah, you know, if there's a headbutt, right, and the guy's an accidental headbutt and gets cut, and the fight gets stopped, it goes to the cards. So you could have that, or you could have, like, you know, he's gone the distance, won Makhmudov. So, you know, it's not impossible. You know, it very well might go again. What date was this fight? It's 11th of October, isn't it? So, yeah, it's 2.1 Allen, 1.9 Makhmudov. That's the best you can get. But Makhmudov KO is 2.1. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous price. Like, White looks in top shape. He does. I see him. He looks in very good shape on the bag. I like the way he's moving from the waist. I think they've got an interesting fight. I mean, like, if you could find 8-1, 7-1 on Dillian, it's certainly worth putting a small bet on. Because Itama hasn't been tested, has he? When has Itama been tested? Well, he hasn't been tested. He's never really been hit. And he was beating up teenagers when he was probably aged 25. You know, they claim. I can't believe he's 20. Yeah, that's true, and that's why you don't trust them. But they're all controlled, aren't they? Isn't his son-in-law of Trump is, you know, quite likes a smaller hat too. Exactly. Ukraine-Russian war has been going on for 10 years. Normies are clueless. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Michael got knowledge. Yeah, they don't seem to realize this is a conflict that's been going on for years. And originally, the Russian people that lived in Ukraine were persecuted by the Ukrainian government. We don't hear that, do you? They just say, "Oh, Putin evil," because these idiot normies read it in the papers, and they put up a Ukraine flag which they never knew existed. They probably never heard of Ukraine. They certainly can't put it out on the map, and they certainly don't know the history of this conflict. They're such idiots, normies. And you still see that. I seen a church the other day with the Ukrainian flag flying. Maloney, what gear you think White is on? Anavar, breeding bull in the house. What's up, my brother? Who you breeding? Did you breed last night? Yeah, we're gonna put you on Savannah Marshall. Not Clarence White, because surely not even a breeding bull could get wood. Sorry, not Clarence White. I mean Clarence Shields. Not even the breeding bull get wood for Clarence Shields. Yeah, Anavar is a muscle building. I don't know if it's officially a steroid, but it's a muscle building substance that's actually legal. It's obviously it's prescription only on certain circumstances. If someone's muscles have wasted away for whatever reason, they've been lying down over an operation, they've been in a coma, they damaged an arm, and they need to rebuild the muscle, they will be given Anavar, and what that does is rebuild muscle. White used to be on Dianabol. Like I said, I said it a minute. I tried Dianabol. I had such bad roid rage, I wouldn't touch it again. But it was weird. White never seemed to get roid rage. He was always quite funny. He never seemed to get roid rage. And I think he's been repeatedly failed. You remember the last test he failed? What happened before that test? There's a certain promoter called Dimitri Salita, who was actually wearing a small hat at the time. And Dillian White pushed him and his hat fell off. And he was laughing about it. He was interviewing, did he see his small hat fly off? And then mysteriously White failed a test. Well, we all know why, man. The whole thing's crooked. So, yeah, well, what is he on now? I don't know, Anavar, maybe even clenbuterol. He looks really slim, in great shape. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad he's come in good shape. He's definitely on gear as a breeding bull. Notice White is more aggressive, Royd Red. All right, so you do think he is aggressive when he's on a Diana bull? Yeah, I mean, I flipped out a couple of times. I haven't seen White flip out like Chisora and flip tables. But who knows, man? Otto saying Ergovic is juicing because you don't have the Afghan genetics. But AJ is natural. Of course he's natural. It's his superior genetics. Otto's such a bum. Leigh Taylor's fun fact: the Masonic chap that took part in the American Revolution against King George was the Society of Cincinnatus. It's where Cincinnati, I guess his name, the Grand Lodge in Detroit. I didn't know that. Good info. But yeah, obviously the whole, American. I mean, look at what's on the dollar. There's even statues of George Washington, and it would say Grand Master Mason, and underneath it would say, and President of the United States. So they're basically telling you what's more important is to be secret society. Yes, definitely looks in great shape. When you lose weight quick, your punch resistance goes. That's actually a very good point. It's true. If you drop a load of weight, your punch resistance goes. He was chinny anyway. I don't think he gets chinned out. I don't think he was super chinny, but he's not iron-jawed. Povetkin absolutely flattened him. One of the best knockouts I've seen. And then he got revenge. But I remember when I saw that fight, I don't know why I didn't dump big on White, because I seen Povetkin had got COVID and had been ill. And when I seen him on the scales, his arms looked skinny. I'm like, he's getting a hiding. And he did. But who else? Yeah, Tyson Fury knocked him out with an uppercut, didn't he? But what he said about lose weight quickly or punch resistance goes, very, 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 very good point. Because when Roy Jones moved up to heavyweight and beat Andy Ruiz for the WBA heavyweight title? Yeah. The Royd Rage. I can't believe they celebrate Jones, and yet he's actually failed the test. And he's the most obvious juicer of them all, right? When he was in the Olympics, he had an athletic body, and he come out, and after a bit, you could usually tell juicers. And a guy who was a bodybuilder told me, he goes, you can tell a natty from a juicer. Just get them to tense that, there's two reasons. The traps on juicers are massive. Is that the traps, these ones? And also, when they tense their biceps, they're like bing, like that, and they're almost pointy. And that's what Roy Jones had. So they celebrate this Roy Jones. Oh, he's the greatest ever. And yet he's a juicer. It's ridiculous. But yeah, when he dropped his weight down from Ruiz back to light heavyweight, his chin went suddenly. And Antonio Tarver ironed him out. He started getting flattered. Even Enzo Macronelli ironed him out. Denis Lebedev ironed him out. I think he's got a Russian passport as well, which is weird. I'm having a small bet on White just for fun. So am I. I put a $5 on. 8-1 or something, or 8.0. You're doing a big live next week? Yeah, sure, big fight live. I ain't not buying it though, not this time. Usually, and there's a big fight, and I'll do live. I have to buy it if it costs a pay-per-view, because I want to make sure I get a good stream for the fans. But there is no way I'm bending over. $15.99. If it was $5.99, I'd be like, okay, I'll take that. $5.99, I'll take that. But if you get a charge me $15.99, yeah, for a couple of decent heavyweight fights, and that's it, and there's no super fight type scenarios, then no, I ain't paying for that. Why should I pay for that, man? As I said, if it was $5.99, I'd be like, okay, that's okay. They've got two good fights on that. Adelaide Ergovic, Talma White. $5.99, I pay that. Or $4.99 would be a reasonable price, but $15.99. And then in America, it's $39.99 bucks. What's that in quid? It's about 30. I don't know what the exchange rate is anymore. It's like 35 quid or 33 quid or something for fighters probably most Americans haven't even heard on. You're saying you just bet on to win? I do, but I still think there's some value there. I mean, I will occasionally. If it's only a couple of quid and I'm like, I want someone to root for, I'll do it. So there's a few times, but I'm talking about a couple of quid or a fiver at the most. I'm not lumping. I'm not lumping, bro. White wants more of the Saudi money, right? Well, he knows he's 37. He's coming to the end. He's got a name to a level. You only need one big fight in heavyweights, and you go from making whatever, hundreds of thousands to millions. If he wins this fight, Dillian White, then they can talk about him and Usyk, and then he's getting that massive payday that will, he'll be able to buy that massive house so he can brag to his friends and show him and Dean White can show his friends around his 10-room mansion, 10-bedroom mansion. I mean, oh, this is our bedroom with a great huge double bed, probably shaped like a heart. Whose bright idea was to put David in with that animal? Hearn? Yeah, the alleged PR story, and it's utter, it's BS. Is that apparently Alan was given 4 possible opponents. He goes, I'm going to go for the most dangerous one, Makhmudov. And I'm like, come on, bro. That never happened. That's just yet another PR BS story. Yeah. The reason he got in that fight, the reason he take that fight is because it had the most money, and he was offered it. If it's a Saudi-backed, I think it's a Saudi-backed event, so it'll be well paid. Michael Malone. My missus is half Russian. She hates Zelensky. Strasvicha. To Michael Maloney's missus. Strasvicha. Is that how you say it? Strasvicha. Yeah. Well, Zelensky's a scumbag. I mean, Ukrainians, if they knew the truth, would hate him as well. Because what is he doing? He's killing as many white Christian males as he can, whilst robbing the country, whilst selling it out, and they're getting billions in aid, which goes in his own pocket. He's sending these poor peasants that probably earn 10 grand a year to their deaths, whilst he's in his, a 35 million pound Miami mansion with 850 million in the bank. He's sick. Ukraine has been the hub of a lot of bad shit for you. Well, there's a number of reasons Ukraine is very important. It's heavy in natural resources, I think for stuff they need to make cell phones and I don't know. Also, it used to be part of the Khazar Empire, right? And if you know, you know. You reckon the normie right wing is catching on to me? I need to make adjustments. Do what's right, my brother. I'm learning a few Russian words from Maloney. Strasvicha. Someone told me the name for nonce. Or something like that. There was this batty man who went over to fight for Ukraine, and they named him Peter or something like that. And he said, I think they're just trying to say Peter. This is great. I've got my own Ukrainian name. But he didn't realize, I think it was something like Peter or something like that. But he didn't realize the word actually meant a batty man. What was the roid rage about you needed more? What are you talking about, man? Speak properly, Mr. Shmuley. True, Boxing Classics, we're headed for, without a doubt. And it's been predicted for years, man. Well, White failed a test after the hat incident, yeah? And the PD was dodging you. Yeah, I mean, I think they're all on it. They just, what? Anyone with eyes who has a little bit of knowledge knows that Gay J is one of the biggest juices there is, as is Daniel Dubon. But they've never failed a test. They're all on it. It's just really, all these so-called heroes. Linford Christie failed test. Obviously Roy Jones. What up, Cade Mac? What up, great to see you. What up, Chubby from South Australia? Well, what's that, bro? Great to see you. This is for this. Did you watch any Jeff Hitman Hardy fights? Who's your favorite Aussie fighter? For me at the moment, obviously I'm a big Jay Opetaia fan. Oh, right. Let me talk about Jai Opetaia. See, I used to call him Jay Opetaia, and people say, no, his name's Jai. I'm like, yeah, but every interview, some people call him Jay, some people call him Jai. So I put out, I had to ask everyone, and people were going, it's Jai. And I thought, okay. And then I thought, what about Opetaia? And then I seen an actual video where Opataya is interviewed. And he says he pronounces it Opataya, Jai Opataya. But then some Samoans, some genuine Samoans, and big up to any Samoans watching this. I love me Samoan fans. Said the thing is about Jai is he was brought up in Australia. You know, he may not even talk Samoan, and his mother is white Australian anyway, so he might not actually, you know how to pronounce his name properly himself. He said the correct way is Jai Orpataya. Jai Orpataya. Jai Orpataya is a Samoan way to say it. But, you know, he's my favourite, one of my favourite boxers at the moment. Terramona Jr. I love him. He's got a sense of humour. He looks awesome. But all time, Jeff Fennick, Jeff Hitman Harding. Yeah, so can the Aussies tell me what your favourite Aussie fighter is? Triple B, Cyborg. What do you think won the Pacquiao of his Horn fight? I remember that. And weirdly, I put a bet on Horn because they were really long odds. I didn't watch it live, I don't think. Who won it? I mean, I think it was close. I mean, Horn did great to do what he did, considering, you know, he's like a school teacher who he's not a great boxer. But, you know, I remember thinking it could have gone either way, and obviously Pacquiao being who he is, I thought he'd get the decision, man. Yeah, but Pacquiao looked awful in the second Povetkin fight. Awful, and he had no muscle definition. Oh, I spat on my... They got spat on my camera. Came... The Povetkin KO was a good take. Oh, it was... And I think he dropped Povetkin, right, the round before. And then Povetkin just, I can't remember which shot it was. It was an uppercut, wasn't it? I think he just dips down, bam, perfect. I think he just dipped down, didn't he? Black, the perfect uppercut. Boom, white spread eagles. It's one of those perfect shots. Yeah, the Aussie now is on the back of the dollar note. Did the conspiracy come from that, or was it a thing when they put it on? No, mate. There's no such thing as a conspiracy anyway. It's either true or it's not. Conspiracy theory was actually a term that was coined and used by the the CIA deliberately to discredit anything that wasn't in the mainstream. But no, man, Washington was Masonic, and so 33%, like a third of American presidents, are admitted secret societies of Masonic origin. And others are like the Bushes, the Skull and Bones and stuff like that. I think Kennedy might have been real, but he got whacked. Why? Because he wanted to bring down the Fed, and he didn't want he didn't want ISA to have nuclear weapons. Acne on the shoulders. Povetkin? Haven't all his fights been like cancelled because he's apparently juicing? I mean, they just went for him because he's Russian. Boston Classic, it's got to do with 1776, Age of Entitlement, all on Masonic. Yeah, absolutely. If White kills a Tama cold, what will you think? Well, I've got nothing against Enrico or Moses, and I think it's good he's a Christian, but he's quite clearly a clergy kind of replacement for Gay J. You know, he fits the bill, doesn't he? Slovakian, Nigerian, British. Yeah, and he moved out to Slovakia when he was real young. I don't even know if he can speak the language. I don't know. And he was going, oh, and he had to do it. He's been told to, oh, it was terrible seeing, the racism. And I was like, come on, man, you're 4 years old. You don't even know what that means. And you don't notice it. And kids, other kids were going around being racist. He's another clergy lad, but at least he's a good Christian, or so he pretends to be. I hope he is. I hope he is a true Christian. If you knocked him out cold, I think it would be exciting. And I would win, 40 quid. 40 quid is not a lot of money, but it's okay. From my live yesterday, I worked out, I got very kindly from a man called Peter, 3 beers, that's 15 quid. I think the commission's 8%. And I got something like, I don't know, 60 quid or something or more off Super Shacks. But, remember, YouTube takes 30% of that. So I end up with about 50 quid, a bit more, which is lovely. And I thank my fans for it. And, which brings me on nicely. You can drop me a super shekel. or buy me a coffee. See it in the description. All crypto donations, Bitcoin and Litecoin. Unfortunately, Cash App is gone, which is really good because they had a great deal and I made a lot of money out of them. But I think they had a data drop, and in the UK it's been banned. They had such a good business as well. I don't know if it's still going in the United States. I think so. White getting into serious shape may not only affect his resistance, it might have him feeling whacked on fight night. He was never the fastest. It could work. It's possible, but all I'll say is, having seen him on the bag, he's not even hitting it that spectacularly, but just the way he's moving. And I always thought he was too chunky, and that hurt his movement. Well, I don't know. Jealousy. It's like, my son, yeah, he's been thrown out of 109 schools. Actually, no, it's 112 now. And it's not his fault. They're just jealous of him. It's the system. Yeah. Famous out by G. Washington, where he claims to have been to the lodge in a year. Yeah. Well, as well, the French Grand Orient Bavarian Illuminatis were conspiring to drag America into international. No surprise. Napoleon was clearly, well, he was obviously hidden hand BS. Look at this on right. White can't compete with Tam at this range. The Tam is too fast, will beat him to the punch. Probably had to be rough and make a Tam uncomfortable. We'll find out how good the chin is. That's it. That's all I want to see. I want to see a Tama's chin tested. I want to see a good fight. I want to see a Tama's chin tested. Part of me quite likes Tama, but I do think he's a liar. I cannot believe he's 20, like I said. When you see him in the juniors beating up these guys who are teenagers, it looks like they're getting beaten up by, a grown man who's a bouncer. Dave Allen's been hyped on U6 Conqueror. Come on, man. Being a little club fight. The British always overhelp the guys beyond belief. Yeah, because Hearn and Warren know how to play the game, and Mickey Duff used to. You know what Mickey Duff's real name is? A prize for someone who knows Mickey Duff's real name without looking. And his tribe. Michael, I still think White clips him. Itama physically doesn't impress me. I mean, that's why it's an interesting fight. Most people will go for Itama. Maloney, who's had success in betting, thinks that White has a good, decent chance. I think at 8-1, it's worth the fight. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Dave Allen just beat a uni rugby player. Yeah, funny enough, when I was in, I went down to, I got to see pals and that in London and that. And, I live on, I'm central London, I'm talking about. I live in suburbs, right? So I went to this gym. It cost me £20 just to train, but it was the only gym I could find open on a Sunday. Yeah. And it was a flashy gym. It's a white-collar gym, really, or a fitness gym. And you get all these people that think they're boxers, and hitting the bags and that. But I don't have a problem with it. And all these girls, and that's always so whack. And then obviously if they're pretty though, they're creepy. If you notice this, if a girl is pretty and got a nice body, and she goes and does boxing classes, I see this all the time. The trainer will go, oh, you're really good. You're a natural, just to boost them up. Having said that, I went out with a girl and she was very, very talented at everything. She's a pain in the ass. Very beautiful, man. I mean, no, she was fairly beautiful. I've been out with more beautiful. I've been out with some stunners, blood. But she smelled real good. I don't know how to say it. But you're very bright. And she's very good at everything. One of them people that's talented at everything. I take her down to the boxing gym and, just taught some basics. And the things with women, when they start, they will tend to, this is as novices, they'll tend to work on technique more. Obviously, they got no power in that. But sometimes their technique is okay, even though they're whack as boxers. Whereas the man just wants to smash. And she was pretty good, man. The first time I teach her a jab, and I mean, there's no power in it, but pop, anyway. Sometimes I miss her, even though she kind of ruined my life. Well, I didn't ruin my life, but I know it was the wrong thing. She sucked the life out the Triple B's heart. British newspapers have Zelensky headlining as a Ukraine hero. Daily Mail, Telegraph, Sun. Yeah, all of them do. I told you, all these papers are the same. They get all their news from Reuters and Associated Press, and people say, the Daily Mail, it's really right-wing. But you notice all the agendas push through it. They just give it a slightly different skin. Yeah? Yeah, if you notice, even the Telegraph released over Christmas. The Telegraph, it's running a broadsheet, released an article saying that you should give your wife a pass maybe for Christmas and let her get rumped up by other men. The Telegraph. In the Daily Mail, they've always got stories about, and especially about middle class women running off, with Afghans. It's all a scam, man. Hero. There was even some guy on Reddit who said, I saw it on the basket weaving forum, who, by the way, they were talking an awful lot. I went, the guy yesterday was asking me a lot of questions about Finland, Usyk being a draft dodger, stuff like that. As soon as he started saying that, I said, that's a faux channel. That's a faux channel. And of course he was. And I went and looked at 4chan afterwards. They were talking all the time. Ask him about Finland. Ask him about this. Ask him about that. And this guy's going, I want to contact him, but I don't want to dox myself. Contact me, bro. Bengo G14 and Proton.me. You feel me? I said about box, right? So I always look at it because you can say more or less what you want. There are mods. They don't get paid, the mods. They do it for free. The mods do it for free. Yeah. But what do they call them on 4chan, the mods? They've got a funny word for them. I can't remember. Janitors. The Jannies. The Jannies do it for free. But they were talking a lot. Well, I'm here. Come and ask me a question, And they were they desperately wanted Triple B to post, but I said I don't post on 4chan because it's a honeypot for your IP. I don't post on 4chan because it's a honeypot for your IP. So I lurk. One of the best agricultural land in the world, Verizon, BlackRock. Yeah. What they're buying it all up. Yeah. No doubt. I think that for the future, it's going to get worse, mate. Of course it is. Usain Bolt was on then. Was on them. Was on what? Bro, more information. I might be missing the thread of the argument, but I'm going back to have a look. But Usain Bolt was on. Oh, PEDs. Oh, of course. Sorry. Oh, 100%. I mean, no doubt. I mean, you know what they do in Jamaica, especially, and they used to do this in China in a slightly different way, right? When it's before a major competition like the Olympics or the World Champs, they would get these guys like Bolt, and they would allegedly set up a training camp, and it would be like right up in the jungle, or somewhere really hard and dangerous place in Jamaica to get to. So the testers don't go. Same with China. They used to take them to the mountains, to these special camps to work them out. Especially the swimmers. You remember that Olympics when all the Chinese swimmers suddenly were real muscular. I mean, Chinese people are slight anyway. And the women were all coming out with bulging muscles. I knew a person who won silver medal. I think it was rowing, female, and it's so depressing. She goes, every time we go to the Olympics, we know exactly what happens. The Chinese rowers go to the mountains, get pumped full of PEDs and masking agents, and they come and they smash it at the Olympics. Yeah. Well, I said, well, maybe you should get down on PEDs. Now, that's right. I talked about it yesterday. I said, why do you think America, ISA, and Saudi are such big pals? Because they're all in the same gang. Yeah. They were from, I think they were from Iran or Iraq, the Saud royal family. And they were, a J family. That's right. Thank you, brother. The House of Saud on the Epstein files. I'm sure they are. Probably all sports people should be juicing at level playing field, not all juice. Yeah. I mean, this fighters definitely didn't juice, in my opinion. Kazagi. I mean, imagine Kazagi, and he's fighting Roy Jones, one of the best ever, who's juiced to the gills, and he's natural. And he still gave him a good hiding. I know it was at the end of his... Well, he did put him over, actually, Jones. But he still gave him a good hiding. He gave him some of his own medicine back, which was, doing the bump and sticking his chin out, which was very well deserved. My favorite at the moment is Jai. All time is Jeff Fennick. Yeah, I mean, me too. It's very similar. Although my favorite is Jeff Hitman Harding, because I just remember as a youth watching this incredibly strong, tough guy. And, he's fighting Dennis Andrews, who's great. I don't want to be done for racialism, but, he's big, big lump, and he, you know, he might have the same nickname as Joe Frazier, right? A huge lump, muscular guy. And I was a little kid, and I was watching. I was like, oh, and Hardy had quite a slight physique, and yeah. Jeff Fennick was robbed in the. Oh, it's a terrible robbery. Yeah, and he's zooming else like terrible robbery. Wait, what is that? I'm being watched by the Luminati. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? That's a helicopter, and that's flying low. Why is it around my house? I don't want to get paranoid or nothing, but there's a helicopter flying over my house. Funnily enough, that's another basket weaving forum thing. But you can hear that, right? Can you hear that helicopter? Blood clot. Yeah, he was robbed badly. That was terrible. It was a draw, right? But unfortunately, the second fight, which was in Australia, and I read a Jeff Fennick interview recently. He just said, I just couldn't really get up for it. I don't know how. You don't get up for fighting a guy that we got robbed in front of 40,000 people, whatever, in your own country. But for whatever reason, he said he wasn't up for it. And Zuma Nelson stopped him in 8 rounds. And after that, Fennick's chin started going. He got stopped by Calvin Grove and what's the other guy? Some white guy, Philip Holiday, the South African guy. And, you know, this was a guy who had an iron chin before. And Jeff Fennick was a super fighter. But he came back years later and he fought. You know, the WBC or whatever retrospectively changed the decision with the Nelson fight and gave him a belt. It was really weird. Because how many weights? He won, like, what, 3 weights? And that would have been his 4th? Something like that. And this is in the days when people weren't juicing quite as much. But they had a... Can you hear that helicopter? I'm definitely being watched by the loon. Can you hear that helicopter? I can hear a helicopter flying overhead. Anyone from the basketball weaving forum knows, but you can actually hear it. Right. So they'd had a rematch. I don't know. This was a few years ago. And then they were, they were 50 or something, or 48 in Ghana, which is Nelson's home country. And what's his name? Fennick won. What up, champs? Freddy Krueger. What up? Great to see you. Freddy Krueger. Who's Freddy Krueger? Is the earth flat? As I said, I've talked about this before. I don't know. I'm not that interested. I'm more interested in what's going on. You know, it's a big one to pull off. It's possible. I've looked at some of it. I don't want to spend hours reading about it. The main question is why? And the answer to that would be, because they're trying to... They want to sell us atheism and science, and science does bullshit. You know, they tell you these things. Oh, we saw a black hole swallow a star light years away. Right. So you've seen something that allegedly happened light years away. So you're actually watching something that happened, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago. Right. And then they show you this image, and then you read below it, and it's a computer generated image, as if living on the earth, you know what's happening billions of miles away. It's such nonsense. You know, it's such nonsense. I think people overrate the white win over Povetkin. He'd been ill before. Shadow of himself, a good contender. A high-11 journeyman would have probably beaten him. Yeah, no, I don't think people do overrate the white win. Everything knows that. I said it earlier. I said he was recovering from COVID, and his arms are so thin. He had no muscle, structure on him. He fainted a jab. Boom. Oh, no. He failed a jab. Yeah. What? I failed a jab. Oh, yeah. And come on top with the left uppercut. Bop. That's right. Catching white uppercut, knocking him out. Not only brutal, but incredible. Yeah, it was one of the most skillful and brutal. Yeah, he does. He does that. Feints the jab. Slips. Pop. Flat. Yeah, that was one of the best punches I've seen. Kennedy. I didn't do anything to him. The first USA president. Abraham Lincoln was one of the worst. Well, he's another one of the wrong ones. With Povetkin, they said his record was hyped. Actually, it wasn't. Not on Boxer Wiki. I think that story's a bit weird. Nordic Warrior doesn't believe it at all. They said his record was hyped. What do you mean hyped? Hyped up? Or you mean actually exaggerated? Povetkin was probably Gajay's best win. You know, Povetkin had a chance, and at some thought I had a bet on Povetkin. Actually, I thought they're underrating Povetkin, and early on, but that was probably Gajay's best performance. Oh, Dave Sands is my favorite Aussie fighter. Yeah, I remember reading about Sands. We're talking about, okay, right, I've got to remember properly. I'm having a look now as we speak. What was it, the 50s? Was it in the fight in the 50s? Tell me about him more, especially from an Aussie perspective. Dave Sands. Oh, no, he died in 52. What the heck? What happened there? Dave Sands. Oh. What, he died at age 26? Blood clot. Yeah, tell me about him, Cyborg. Tell me more from Aussie perspective. That's mad. They're charging PPE for Danny Williams with Ibiabuchi. Yeah, but it's on some dodgy unknown website. I mean, some idiots will buy it. Probably not Nigerians. What they should have done, as I told you, I don't know why no one has seen it. They should have done Ibiabuchi v Samuel Peter, right? 2 Nigerians. And one was a supposed ex-heavyweight champion. Povetkin's career was actually changed on the wiki when the news came out. Really? I visited a day, it was back to normal. Well, my question is why I changed it. Well, wiki's not to be trusted, is it, man? Come on, bro. Everything that they don't like is a right-wing conspiracy. The funniest thing was they talk about the clergy plan and couldn't have clergy, right? And they say, the first thing they go is, it's a far right-wing conspiracy theory about filling Europe with foreigners and blah, blah, blah. And he goes on that it's a conspiracy. Now, apart from the fact you just need to look out the window to see it's happening, they then go on to quote the book. And it says exactly that's what the plan is. But allegedly it's a conspiracy theory. It's so ridiculous. Oh, Owen says, they tried changing Povetkin's record of historical steroids. They were just attacking him because he's Russian. That's why. Whose skin you wearing tonight? I think this is Sam Stroller. Sam Stroller. He's a friend of Mr. Shmuley. You think White can stop it? I think there's a chance. I don't know how good White's chin is. We don't know. You've never seen him get shit. What are your thoughts on home gyms? I've wasted a lot of money over the years buying equipment at home that I've rarely used because your home is your home. That's where you eat. That's where you sleep. That's where you chill, right? And if you, maybe a few weights I might use occasionally, but, I bought like old benches and I've used it like 10 times. I even used to have a punch bag in my house, but I hardly used it. Why? Because you want to go to the gym. There's good psychologically to separate yourself from home to gym, K-Mac Parrow. Oh, Liam Parrow. Yeah. He's a nice boxer. He beat Matthias. That was a great. He did well. But Dan Morphy, the quote will get you. I would knock the quote out, that bum, on a fat ass. Like, I could never tire. I never, ever tire of watching. I might even watch it now. Huh? Let's see. And I think I might just show it on air of the quote being knocked out by that Latvian guy, right? And what's really funny is this, right? I'm laying down in the weeds. And this big prick comes along and he says, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm resting. Hey, you're resting? Yeah, here I'm resting. Now, you're going to tell me something today, tough guy. Okay, I'll tell you something. Go fuck your mother. Where's the reference from? I hope you guys get the reference. Okay, so Clarence Shields, the she-male, getting knocked out by a, I mean, you wouldn't call him a journeyman, but he's pretty much unknown.
Have you ever seen a male boxer knock out?
Oh, shut up. I don't think
Oh!
Oh! Wait. Okay, this is the funniest part. This is the one I wanted. This is the version I wanted, right? Listen to what she says. That all you got? Because obviously he's taking easy on her. She's a girl. You watch males spar females and they just touch them like that because they know they're going to hurt them. Right? She goes, yo, that's all you got? That's all you got? You can't hang with the glow. And then she gets splattered. I've got to show this, right? Blood clot. Okay. That's all you got? Yeah. Let's watch that again. That's all you got? That's all you got? No, you got a bit more. Blap! Apparently the Latvian guy was like saying to his trainer, why is she trying to knock me out? I mean, what should I do? He goes, I just smack her hard. and he knocked clean out, you know. And she apparently had tried to stab him. And she was saying, "What a scumbag!" This is the same woman that criticised me. Yo, all you gotta do is be nice. It don't cost nothing to be nice. And she's acting like that, the scumbag ghetto hood rat. And anyway, she was she firstly she tried to stab him. She's then, when it came out, she goes, "Oh, them gloves were rigged. Them gloves were rigged. Oh, the padding was taken out." Well, you can see it isn't. What a stupid lie. Liam Wilson, not worth watching. Oh, thanks, bro. I'll have a look. I haven't watched it. By the way, I don't want to seem like I'm begging, but there hasn't been a single super shekel or buy me a coffee. Remember, if you want to show some love, if you got a spare $5, you know, it'll buy the Triple B. I'll be going to Spoons. It'll buy me 2.5 Bud Lights. I'm going to go down the gym and hit it hard. After that, I'm going Spoons for a couple of Bud Lights. What's up, Triple B? Canelo vs Crawfish. Your prediction? I would say Canelo points. You've had numerous people attacking your channel. Long history. Yeah. Usain Bolt was a snack. Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, the snake. What's crack, Jimmy? How many amateur fights you had? 10 amateur fights. I also had 5, whatever. I think 5 around. I don't know, you know, unlicensed or whatever, white collar, whatever. Actually, my hardest fights were white collar, if you believe that. Not because the opponents were tough, but because one of the times I'd been out all night partying on the Yale. And sold loads of tickets, and I was like, I just felt terrible, and I was like, oh man. In the end, I gave it quite a good performance. I had a shot of vodka before I went in the rings. I thought, and I'm like, wow, bollocks, man. This doesn't matter. Who cares? And the first one I had, I hadn't really done any running, and I wasn't. And you know when you start boxing, you're tense, so you run out of gas really quickly. Whereas even when you know how to box later, you're unfit. Yeah, but you know how to relax, and you can do loads of rounds. So, with the first one I had, after a minute, I gassed after 1 minute, and I thought, how am I going to do this? Even though it's only 3-2s, and I hit the guy low on the second round on purpose so I could get a breathe. But I then managed to relax, and I gave the guy a bit of a hiding, and they said, I said, "Look, come on, let's go party, man. Let's hit the party." He's like, "Oh man, no, I've got a blistering headache from you battering me." I said, "Well, okay. Just take some Cocodamol." Dennis Andrews used to carry his WC belt on London. Yeah, he's a weird guy, Dennis Andrews. He's the very tough guy. Jeff Hitman Harding knocked him out in a huge upset. Hitman Harding was brought in at the last minute, I think. Not literally, but, you know, because, I don't know, Andrews had gone to the Kronk. Andrews' opponent had pulled out. And Jeff Hardy had been fighting as a super middleweight. He hadn't even fought as a light heavyweight. He came in tough as nails and knocked out Andrews, and had a 3-fight. What's it called? A 3-fight thing. Jeff Harding KO was off its head. Yeah, I love Jeff. I hope you saw the intro. I'm also going to put it out. Jarrod, so a fighter. Your name is Tuese Voisiutu. I've not heard of him. If that's correctly spelled, I'll have a look. Like I said, for me, my favourite Aussie fighters at the moment are Jai Orpitaya. I'll go away to quotes. Jai Orpitaya and Terramorona. You know what I like him? He's always smiling. He's massive. Like, he looks like that, you know, what's that, Aquaman? Is it Aquaman? I don't watch any of this nonsense, but that guy. That actor. Yeah, so Dennis Andrews used to carry his belt out, but he's really weird now. He doesn't talk to people. You know, he's got no interest. He won't do interviews and stuff like that. I think he's been to one like EBA meeting or something like that. He's quite a weird guy. You know, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I don't know. I don't really know much about him because he's you know, he's not really a talker, is he? Speaking of Zuma Nelson, who would you have licked if Nelson McGuigan fought around if they were champions? Who would I have liked? Well, at the time, I was a McGuigan fan. McGuigan's actually a piece of shit. But who I think would win, I think most people would say Azuma. But you never know. I mean, there was a time when when he fought Pedrosa, Eusebio Pedrosa, that was a great fight. You know, he had a nice left hook. He burnt bright, but for a short time. But he lost an early fight to
was it Simon or Peter Eubanks? Yeah, one of the Chris Eubanks' brothers, and he also killed someone, didn't he? Barry McGuigan killed someone early on. Champ, let me text about Terry Marsh. Yeah. Well, if you can get Terry Marsh on, nothing would be better, man. Where is Oro? I haven't seen him for a bit. Helicopter couldn't kidnap Triple B. They can correct him back into a normal. Yeah, I'll come back. And the channel would have completely changed. I'm starting to think Mahmoudov's going to hurt Dave Allen bad. Yep. Oh, wait. Yeah, what's up, brother? Hope you're well. Hey. There's no point asking Rabbi Shmuley for a super check because why would he give a disgusting GOY like me any of his money? Money, I must rob. Cyborg. We're talking about Dave Sands. He died in a farming accident. Oh, his next fight was fight Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson a bit older time. He stated that he would want to get paid a lot of money to fight Sands. Wow, that's such a shame, man. Yeah, I remember his name, but like I said, I don't know that much about the story. Thank you for that. Sands had smashed Dick Turpin in a round, yeah, and beat Carl Bubba Olsen. Sands also carried fights by hitting his opponents in the shoulder because at the time he was the most feared middleweight in the world. Yeah, let's have a look at his what's it called? His record. I mean, I have heard Dave Sands, and I remember having heard him bigged up. Was he a partial? He was mixed, wasn't he? He was mixed, partial white, partial. What do you call them? Original people. Aboriginal. I mean, in them days, his record is like 57 wins, 87 wins, 52 KOs, 10 losses, two by KO. What in 26? I mean, in them days he used to fight so much. But even like, not that long ago, Tony Tucker fought Mike Tyson 64 days. 64 days. So we're talking basically 2 months. Basically 2 months after winning the title against Buster Douglas. That would never happen today. Yeah, he's got such a long record there, man. Well, what a shame, man. Carl Bubba Olsen, 1 point. Twice he beat Bubba Olsen. He was from Hawaii, but white. Looks like a good fighter. The Goat wanted the bull and got the horns. Yeah. Hey, you can't hang with the Goat. That all you got? Bang! That was so funny. So good. That's what I thought. Oh, dear me. Not even if I have something to show. I can't find it, man. If I can find it. It's got too much stuff everywhere. I had something to show, Mr. Shuley, that if I showed you, I think you might be, you might rub your hands, but I still don't think you'll give me any money. Kane Dingle, my favorite boxers in any order, JC, TH, and Barry. Come on, man. I assume you mean Joe Calzaghe, but please write Joe Calzaghe. Barry McGuigan, I assume. Who's TH? Hardy was brought in 3 weeks before, yep. Yep, and he was a super middleweight, and he's still battered. What's his face? Andrews, but they had a rematch. I think this one might have been in the UK, and Hardy got dropped. Hardy had a great chin, but he took a lot of punches of flush. Hardy got dropped. Okay. What's the time? 1 hour 10 and not a single super check. Come on, funds. Give me something to rub my hands about. I'll do the dance. I will do the dance. I haven't done the dance for it. You know which dance I'm talking about. I might even change my hat. All right? If someone gives me a super check, I will change my hat and do the dance. How about that? And Shmuley will love my hat. So Hardy's brought it 3 weeks before. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know if he was training for a fight. I assume so because, he was very fit in that fight. Or maybe he just was fit all the time. I know he had a drink problem later. Who's this guy? So he's training the same gym as Toese. So let me have a look. Yeah, because sorry, who mentioned him earlier? Jared mentioned him, right? It's quite a hard name to spell and pronounce. How is it? I presume it's spelled Tuese Vusiutu. Let's see what we get. Box track. I mean, box track search is not that good. I got him. This dude. Check him out. That's quite a beard, man. That's quite a beard, though. Is that him? There's a beard with a shaved moustache. Now that can be a bit suspicious. That might mean he's one of the 4 lions. 8 wins, 7 KOs, 2 losses. Is he still fighting, this guy? Yeah, he's still fighting. So he can obviously punch, but he's been outpointed twice. Yeah, it's always interesting to know about fighters you never heard about. Goat was embarrassed years ago. I mean, imagine saying he could beat Triple G with a straight face. Yeah. And Sean Paul. I mean, can you imagine what not Triple B. Well, yeah, imagine what I would knock her out. Imagine what Triple G would do to the so-called Goat. I mean, he honestly, I mean, you know, that Latvian guy, you know, don't get me wrong, could box, but he's not. He completely flattened her with the first fight. The first punch he threw with spite, he flattened her. Right. Imagine what Golovkin would just walk across the ring and bang her out with his first shot. It's pathetic, man. Oh, Tommy Hearns. Yeah. I do like Tommy Hearns. Oh, yeah, totally. Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Also, the very fact, you know, the way he used to fight, he's so skinny, but with his broad shoulders. And, you know, because he was, his chin wasn't the best, he'd be in super exciting fights. You remember him against James the Heat Kinchin? I wonder what happened to James Kinchin. I think he dropped Tommy Hearns. I think Hearns got the decision. Obviously Leonard, but he avenged that. Didn't he, Hearns? Didn't he win the second fight against Hearns? Or was it a robbery and a draw? Something like that. But people also go about the Marvin Hagler. Oh, it's the best 3 rounds ever. People say that without ever watching it. It isn't. I'll tell you why it isn't. Because apart from the cut, Hagler's never in any trouble. And they say, oh, it's so exciting, it's a shootout, it's amazing, the best fight ever. It isn't. There's no back and forth. It's Hagler. Tommy the Hitman Hearns, unfortunately, decided just to slug it out and didn't use his length and his vicious jab. He had completely the wrong tactics and he got caught and flattened. But, you know, that was the fight that Hearns maybe with different tactics could have won, but all this like it's the best 3 rounds ever. It's a lie. Go and watch it. It's very one-sided. Louis. If their rounds fit in box money, which you can do, there's a great chance of beating the hype job Mahmoudov. If you don't know how boxing for every round, he gassed badly for the refs off. Yeah, but Vienna. I mean, Mahmoudov only had one eye. You're right. You can be right about the gassing, though. Obviously, Mahmoudov missed with wins or KOs. Most of them in the first round. But Dave Allen and boxing smartly don't go together for me. What do you think? Tuese, Voicitu Cyborg. Yeah, tell us, man. Definitely work a few stoppage, late stoppage. I'm not. I've put down my money. I've told people I put down my money on Mahmoudov to win. I mean, yeah, the odds would be decent on that. So I'm not against that, Louis. But, you know, I don't hedge. Hedging is for pussios. Cashing in is for pussios. I put my money on Mahmoudov and I stick by it. Tuese is decent, but I think he was better when he was leaner and used his movement. What weight division is he boxing? Let's have a look here. He's 34. Yeah, he's getting on, bro. He's a heavyweight. Clark, he's a heavyweight, man. The guy who knocked out Shield was knocked out by Rolly Romero in real life. Are you sure, man? What's his name? Do you mean... What? When he said real life, do you mean like a street fight? Because I can't remember the Latvian's name, but I'm pretty sure he had 6 fights and 1 loss on points. But yeah, Triple G would have smashed Shields into Broken Warrior. I mean, it was a bit ridiculous. I can't believe you had the cheek to say that. And even Sean Porter and you know they could have probably got Sonny Edwards would probably outpoint her if she was like, you know, still fighting in the light middle. Tommy was a great fight. Yeah, Hearn's draw with Leonard second. It was a draw. Yeah, I thought Tommy won. So does everyone else. Leonard admitted it. Yeah. It's a shame though, because Tommy, didn't like Leonard, and he deserved to win, and he got it. He had it stolen from him. Champ, Ken Dingle. Does Joe? I assume Joe Kazaki beat Carl. I assume Froch in his prime. Yes, totally. Froch is very tough, right? But Kazaki underachieved, and underperformed. Why? Because he's not on the PDs, and also you training in a shack in Wales. You couldn't get good sparring. He had such bad hand and elbow injuries. For the Robin Reed fight, he didn't even spar around. People say Robin Reed won that fight. Well, it's hardly. It was very close. I'm glad they gave it to Kazaki so he can be unbeaten. But Kazaki basically couldn't train for that fight. I know a guy who's been in boxing all his life, and he saw Kazaki hit the bag when he turned pro, and he goes, "I've never seen anyone hit so hard of that weight." And also, if you watch him in the amateurs, he banged out everyone: Glenn Catley, Jason Matthews, all these other guys. Some guys went on to be world champions. And I said, this guy's going to be a superstar. And he was meant to fight Steve Collins. I remember saying to me, Irish pal, well, it was Cockney Irish. I said, look, he's going to get absolutely waxed by Joe Calzaghe. And this guy's like, but Collins is really tough. I go, yeah, he's really tough, which just means he's going to get a longer beating. Believe me, he will get absolutely waxed by Calzaghe. Obviously, he was proud of Collins. Collins is a very tough guy and decent boxer. But, Calzaghe would have slapped him up. You remember he fought Eubank. Eubank came in at the last minute, and credit to Eubank. They must have paid him. He got dropped really early and dropped late. I think Kazakh said it was the toughest fight because he was exhausted at the end. I mean, you've got to say Eubank's got such a good chin. He's got such a good chin. And Eubanks said afterwards, he's commenting, that is a very good fighter. That is a very good fighter. Donny, hey, what are you saying, my man? Good to see you, champ. I saw a few of Mahmoudov's fights. He has no defense and always drops his right hand. I think Alan is a better boxer. It might be a close fight. I hear a lot of this. I don't think Alan's a better. He might be a better boxer, but that's because Mahmoudov is a terrible boxer. I mean, almost anyone's a better boxer than Alan. But so than Mahmoudov. But he does club and hit hard, and I don't think Alan. I think Alan will get involved. What are your thoughts on Sven Okachuk? I don't know that likes him. Very underrated, very, very underrated, and definitely not on the PE dish. I mean, he was fighting with super middleweight, and he was short, with short arms, and he had a slightly chubby physique. Yeah, and yet he would outbox these giants. Who's that guy? Who's that guy who knocked out Harold Bomber Graham? A really tall guy with broad shoulders. Harold Bomber Graham's another thing that annoys me. Oh, he's such a greatest fighter. He should have won a world title. He never won. He had 3 shots at the world title and couldn't win it. Plus got ironed out by Frank Grant. Plus got beaten by Sumu Kalambe. I'm so sick of hearing about how, he should have just stuck to boxing and then he would have won against Jackson. Well, it doesn't matter. That's boxing. He got ironed out. I'm telling you, it's a blood clot. Yeah, Svenokka had a couple of close fights and bad decisions, and this was in the days when in Britain they used to be a little bit fairer with their decisions. They even gave it Canizales over Billy Hardy, which Billy Hardy won. Yeah, which Billy Hardy won. But we used to be fairer. We used to make fun of Germany and Italy, right? And Oka did have a couple of dodgy decisions, but for a guy who's clearly not on the PE dish, who was short, who had short arms, it was slightly chubby. He had great boxing skills. He had very low KO ratio, 6 KOs out of 34 fights. But, the funniest thing was when he ironed out Anthony, the man Mundine. Mundine says, you can't punch. My girl punches harder than you. And he flattened Mundine. Mundine did give him a hard fight, though. I'll give him that. Charles Brewer, that's right. Charles the Hatchet Brewer. Who's enormous, great wide, broad shoulders, and my phone's been weird. I'm going to switch it off. Here comes a helicopter again. I told you, and all the people on the basketball forum, I hear a helicopter head. No, I genuinely hear a helicopter. This is the second time. Roger Hugh, Skins looks great today. What, AKA Skins? Oh, and Kazaghe would have slapped Froch off. I completely agree. I wouldn't say knocked him out. No, I don't think so. He would have won a unanimous decision. But like I said, Kazagi could really punch. And he knocked out his first 9 opponents. They had to get him a cruiserweight to get him to go the distance. He fought a cruiserweight in his 10th fight. Yeah, it was tough, so he go the distance. But then, unfortunately, he broke his hands were all shattered, and he was training in a shack in Wales without much sparring, without no supplements, without no PED. Mark, can you stop talking about Kazagi and focus on what I don't know where this is going? Or Wales' greatest boxer, Lawrence, the Lucky One prize. Is that really a nickname? Do you think Tim Zoo is done for? His 2 losses have been devastating. Absolutely. And I want a lot of money, and I told people to get on it. I can't believe the Russian guy, I can't remember his name, I can't even remember what the name was, But I said, this guy is a 4-1 or something like that to beat Zoo. Jump on it. Look, can you hear that? Am I wrong? Is there a helicopter overhead? My boy, based Foxing, Canada. £5. Hey, based Foxing, Canada. Be careful, Canada Bob from CBC. What's CBC, bro? Ex-law enforcement, same as Boxing King Media. No, really? Porky exposed him, plus he stole all Porky's guests. Oh, you mean Boxing King Media? Oh, I know Boxing King Media is a Fed. 100%. He checked me as well. Huh? Oh, I hear you've been talking about Rochdale or Rotherham Coppers and implying I might have been involved. And I said, okay. He goes, that's libelous and blah, blah. And I said, really? I said, can you tell me which part of the video I said that? No, I'm not going to go through that video again. I said, you haven't watched it, have you? Someone's just told you. And I started playing with him, right? And he goes, you're clever. I go, yeah, I know I'm clever, man. And you're not. But I said, are any of you police? I said, no. And even if they were, so what? It doesn't matter. As soon as someone goes, that's like admitting it. And even if they were, huh? So what? They're just boxing fans making money. Well, that just tells you immediately that he is a copper. And obviously he is. And then he checked me up and goes, look. It's not too difficult to find out who you are. Because your details will be registered with Google. I was like, you're threatening me, man. You checked me up. So, yeah, PC golly. But Porky was very funny when he stitched up. Oh, yeah, sorry, we've already done this one. Michael Maloney, Canadian boxing channel is ex-Fed apparently. Never watched it. He knows nothing about boxing. That's right. Well, I mean, I can't stand Feds. See, I had a conversation with him, and I thought he was quite a decent guy. He came, he started talking on the channel, but I didn't look much into it. Well, if he's a Fed, well, he's a Fed, and he's getting no love from the Triple B. And thank you, by the way, Base Fox in Canada. Again, another £2. Thank you, brother. Another £2 from my mans. No, Porky exposed Canada's boxing channel too. Did he really, bro? Wow, man. Can you tell me what, obviously Porky releases a lot of videos, but this is a Porky video I want to watch. So please, can you just tell me what it's called? The title of the video is called? I'd really like to know, because Porky don't like the Feds, obviously. So yeah, if you could just tell me, bro, Mr. Boxing Fox in Canada, tell me what the name of the Porky video is, and when it was on roughly, and yeah, I'll have a look. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it does look like it, man. He's been watching your channel lately, Cannonball. I know, he's commented on it. Some people saying he would copy me or something, but if he's a Fed, he can jump in. Sorry, bro, I don't support Feds. You jump in a lake. Yeah, how did they expose the Feds? Canada's woke boxing channel. Well, I've got to be honest with you, I haven't actually watched any of his videos. I don't really watch other people's channels. There has to be a very good reason for me to watch someone's channel. That I don't. What is anyone going to teach me about boxing? What's anyone? I mean, I'm not being funny, but seriously, man, I've been obsessed with it for years, and I box, and I've got my own channel, and I know my boxing, man. What am I going to learn? Yeah. So Canada's woke, so he's woke as well. So anyway, I watched about a minute, and he's this older dude, but he was really nice in one of the comments, so I subbed to him just for being nice without even looking at the channel. And he said, "Oh, I'm just doing a boxing channel about Canada and world boxing." I thought, well, fair enough. I'll support you. It's funny, all these guys that the Triple B like helps and sorts out ends up being wrongins. You know, all these guys, they bigged up their channels. I gave them advice on how to run their channels. I actually gave them money to some people, and they're all wrongins. I watched a bit of Porky's idiot guess. I don't know who he has. You used to have that idiot Julian, didn't he? An alleged trainer who only trained one guy. Sykes. Was it Gary Sykes? Who, by the way, I back Gary Sykes. He should have the Lonsdale belt. And he was a gutsy, the blonde guy. You know, I hope he's okay. I know he's going for a tough time. But Julian was that was his only guy. And in the middle, I told you I exposed him before on another, I wasn't alive on a video, and I said, because he says, you know what boxing needs? The Porkers. No, what the boxing needs, Julian? And he said, more diversity. As soon as he said that, I was like, get out of here, man. Well, how can you be so pathetic? Yeah, tell us. You probably like us, convict. Tommy Kangaroo Dan Sports. I mean, I'd love to go to Australia. I was when I was young, and I was really looking forward to it. But I got a good job in the UK. So, but he brings out the pimp stick. The pimp stick. Triple B unit. Well, I haven't seen any of the women. Sonia Blade. See, we got some females. Sonia Blade and Miss Sirara. I haven't seen for a bit. You promise like us, convicts. Yeah, man. I would love to go on Australia. It's just so far away. You know, I just can't be asked. I must cost like $5,000 to get over there, surely. I thought of going to Samoa. I've been invited by Samoan to come to Samoa because they love my I've got to say it wrongly. My Jaya or Pattaya videos. They love my Jaya or Pattaya videos. And one guy commented, laughing, I don't know who you are, bro, but I'm sitting there having a barbecue with my cousins. It sounds so Samoan, in a barbecue with all their cousins. And I showed the video to all their cousins. They're laughing their ass off. You know, so yeah, big up to my Samoan pals. So yeah, I even looked at it. Costs like $5,000 to get to Samoa. Obviously, it's not easy. You've got to change twice. I think you probably have to fly to, I mean, it's the middle of the ocean, right? You have to fly probably to Oz, then New Zealand, and then to Samoa or something like that. Porky asked me to come on. Makes you wonder how many feds and gossips floating about. Yeah. Yeah. Big up, Triple B in the chat. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Seen you today and today. All the females are gone. Yeah, well, we only had 2. Missy was nice. I mean, her ex-partner used to run a boxing gym. And Sonia's very funny. Sonia Blade, you see her on the comics? Sonia Blade's funny. You know. Jai is half Samoan, correct. His dad is Samoan. His mum is, I think, of Anglo or Scottish, white Australian origin. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he actually speaks Samoan. Base Fox in Canada. Dominating because I'm rich as fuck. I'm glad you're rich, bro. It's good to make money. Well, you know, as long as you made it in moral ways. You know, I know people, and it sickens me, that made money in real immoral ways by manipulating, taking dirty money, immoral people, and they've got loads of money in like 4 houses, and you know, they're not manipulative, unpleasant people that don't. The last people who deserve to have money, but unfortunately, a lot of people who make money have psychopathic and narcissistic tendencies. CEOs. There's a top 5 list of who's most likely to be a psychopath. What jobs attract a psychopath? In no particular order, because it depends on which, you know, study you read. But CEOs, obviously, because they want to trample over people who make money. Lawyers, well, that's no surprise. Police, obviously, that's no surprise. You know, it's like all these positions of people where they have a lot of control and power. Police, which is full of grey piss and nonsense too, right? Surgeons, obviously, because, you know, you're cutting open bodies and feeling nothing about it. And government officials at any level. That includes government officials. So you notice, apart from a surgeon, that obviously you've got to have a cold because you're cutting open someone's body live. I mean, all those other positions that I look like I'm speaking into my pimp stick. All those other positions give people power, which is what psychopaths and narcissists like to do. barbecuing a horse with all my cousins. Yeah, I like to taste Samoan food. Also, it's kind of original, but like it's so difficult to come to. Cyborg, come to Melbourne trip where we go to a Geopolitics meeting night. I'd love to. So you live in Melbourne, brother? In your, I mean, I know you live in Melbourne. What's the best city? What's Sydney like? I know Sydney's a bit woke now, isn't it? But isn't it near the beach? Are you near the beach in Melbourne? I don't know much about Australia. I know that obviously most of the population is on the outskirts, and except Alice Springs, which is apparently a hellhole. $5,000 to Samoa, yeah, it does. It does. That's how much it costs. Mark says, Samoa's nice if you like chilly on the beach, to be fair. Nice warm waters. Well, see, that's the thing. If you're going to fly that far, well, maybe I can fly to Australia, go to Melbourne, see my man Cyborg, go down the gym, train, meet Jai Orpatai, and, and then fly to Samoa. I think it'd be kind of cool because, Samoa's quite very small, isn't it? I know what used to be called American Samoa. I don't know if it's American Samoa now. It's only had 40,000 people, and it still had 40 NFL players in it, man. Them guys are big and strong. Believe that. Thank you, Base Foxing. £1. Thank you very much, brother. We're getting 4 super checks from my man's Base Foxing, and we now know that Canada Boxing is a Fed. Yeah, if you can tell me the name of the Porky's. He does so many videos. I'm not going to go through them all. The name of Porky's video where he exposes him, I'd like to know. I did it. I did it in Morals Ways. Usually, it's good. Yeah. People don't eat for the Samoa trip. Yeah, come on, guys. Donate for the Samoa trip. Thank you very much for my man's Foxy Boxing or Canada Foxy Boxing or whatever. Sorry, I misused your word. Based Foxy in Canada. Excuse me, sir. Yeah. We need some bit more of that love, not from everybody. So you can fly the chubby over to Samoa. Imagine doing a live in Samoa. I'd be going there, man. Hopefully by then I'd have a bit of money and I'd be going to look for some talent, bro. To look for some talent, because that Samoans are very athletic and very big. I'd be looking for some heavyweights, bro. And teach them. I'm in a boxing gym in Samoa, because unfortunately most of the Samoan fighters are in New Zealand or Australia, because Samoa is quite small and it's really far away, and it costs money to fly people to competitions and international competitions. But I thought maybe I'll open a boxing gym in Samoa, and then once they're good enough, I'll sign them and move them on to Australia or the UK. What about that, man? I mean, come on, man. Imagine having a stable of 8 Samoan heavyweights, bro. Yeah, I'm feeling pleased we won't control it, man. FTP, brother. FTP. Corned beef in a can is the #1 food in Samoa, is it, Mark? Like, I've never tasted corned beef. I don't know. I never like the look of it. Some people say, oh, it's really nice. It's really salty, in it. I did have a tin of I got a tin of corned beef once from my food bank. I don't live off food banks, but I had all my money stolen from me. I was made homeless. So, but corned beef I gave to my dog, but he drank so much water after having just a bit. I thought it's got a lot of salt in it. But I mean, I guess I don't know what because Samoa is small. I don't know what the natural crops are in Samoa, what animals they've got. I don't know. So they might have to import quite a lot of food, and therefore it needs to be preserved. I grew up in that mushroom, where that mushroom murders happened. Oh, yeah. I actually knew her ex-husband at school there on nice beaches down that way. Brilliant. Because, if you want to go to Australia, you want to go to a nice beach, eh? The mushroom, are you really? Blood clot. I sort of looked briefly. I mean, obviously, because the news is all BS, I don't spend a lot of time. So I looked at, I looked at that mushroom case, but we need more Samoans for diversity. Things, at least Samoans are decent people, and they're Christians. Yeah. I think when they get the drink on, it might be a bit dangerous, but that goes for everybody. Imagine you don't want to fight with a Samoan. What's the other one? The Maoris. Yeah, Jake the Muss or Jai the Muss. I know he's Samoan, half Samoan, half Aussie, but you definitely are based, Mr. Based, Fox said. Yeah. FTJ. Lee boy, 2K1. The establishment tricks the public are pretending to possess golden rules ethics verbally, but the ethics are Manichaean dualists. They write that only they are qualified to balance human ethics. Yeah, who put them in charge? Who put them with your dirty law? The scumbags, man. Anyway, if you know, we're based. I'm based. Most of my fans are based, and if they're not, they should be. If they watch more of the Triple B videos, the system's utterly corrupt. It's full of narcissists, psychopaths, nonces, secret society people, hat wearers. Mark, yeah, that's the most important from New Zealand and Oz. Oh, okay. Well, so they rely on food to be imported, or can they live on their own, but they just happen to import some stuff? I mean, let's see what Samoan food's like. I hope it's better than Eritrean food. Yeah, what apart from corned beef, what is Samoan? What's Samoan dishes like? I want some Samoan dishes. So yeah, anyone tell me? It's a shame you haven't got any Samoans on here. Samoan food, according to AI, is characterized by tropical fruits and vegetables, locally sourced meats, and plentiful seafood. Yeah, the seafood must be amazing. Root vegetables, breadfruit. Yeah, the seafood must be amazing. A lot of coconut. Yeah, that sounds great, man. Palusami, a classic dish made with taro leaves, coconut cream, onions, oca, raw fish, and salad marinated in coconut cream, lime juice, chili. Well, that sounds good. Sapa sui, a Samoan version of chop suey. Yeah, man, it sounds like they've got some good foods, bro. And they must be able to have some good foods because they're not so big. You can't make a big man if you don't have some good food for them to eat. Do all Samoans have good chins? I mean, that's one of the cliches, but then there are guys like the guy that Lucas Brown earned up and around. Some of them, so there will always be exceptions. I mean, that's one of the cliches. I mean, some of the Americans call them, I'm not using this term racialistically, coconut heads, because they've got solid heads. But yeah, Jake the Muss. He's married. That was an amazing film. Apparently, that guy used to be on some, some like family-friendly series, right, where they fly doctors in planes, and played a real nice guy. But when he played Jake the Muss in Once for Warriors, isn't it? Oh man, it's just the violence. Too many weights, not enough speed work. Yeah, but he slaps his wife about, which is bigger. And you see his eyes when he realizes that the uncle has been molesting his girl who killed herself. You see his eyes, and that's a great performance. Great performance. Yeah, cook them in some fucking eggs, woman. My boy Based again. Thank you, man. You've been very based. Keep him rolling. Just because Based is disappointing don't mean nobody else can give some love, some super shakes. Have you ever drunk a can of Fierocity? Perfect to wash down the turkey dinosaurs with potato waffle. Yeah, man. Actually, I have. Because before, not now, because I make my own energy drinks with ginseng, raw honey, guarana. It doesn't taste very nice. And sometimes, maybe some blackberries, and I mix it up, and it's great for the energy. But yeah, I used to drink a variety of, even though I knew they were rubbish, and I didn't like Red Bull, they're too expensive, so I'd buy Fierocity. I bought Fierocity just to try it, and it was like something like blue raspberry flavor. It was absolutely disgusting. And I also opened some Fierocity ice creams that were full of caffeine and guarana. Yeah, I'm not, the kind of people, but you're right, man. The kind of family that would go and drink Fierocity would also buy turkey dinosaurs and bird's eye potato waffles, which I once bought and quite liked. I haven't bought turkey dinosaurs, but I was like, I can't eat this rubbish. You've got to keep your body healthy. Super processed food, some of it is not even food. It gives you no nutrition, and it makes you down, and it's full of chemicals. Okay, so stick away with any processed foods. Peter's it, chubby. When I lived in Wales, they used to mash it with potatoes and onions and corned beef hash. Corned beef hash sounds quite good, Yeah, you know, when I minced meat and onions and potatoes, yeah, always go quite well. Of course, you know, there's certain people that, you don't season. No, sorry, that's Otto. Hey, y'all don't season your food. Y'all don't season your food. White people don't season their food. You know, and they look at it and it's like, well, because the only so-called white food, you know, the African Americans tasted is at school and at prison, which is obviously the food is rubbish. White people make the most amazing food. And loads of us eat spicy stuff. All the guys that win the spiciest chili competition, guys, are almost always white, right? There's loads of beautiful food. And you've got to imagine as well, also, and also they don't season their food. The only thing that these African Americans do, now, my girls, is they've got this special seasoning, which is mainly salt, onion powder, and garlic. And they just put it on everything. And that's their seasoning. I mean, that's hardly sophisticated, is it? You put it, I mean, you know, I don't mind a bit of fried chicken. I like jollof rice. I like jerk chicken. Don't get me wrong, but you know, just they don't season their food and shit. It's just pathetic. Also, you got to remember, North Europe hasn't really got any natural herbs. They're all in the south. The south does. Spain, Italy, Greece, but in the north, what do you think they've got in Sweden? Nothing. That's why their food is bland. They ain't got no herbs. And even in the UK, we've got some herbs, but not really that, you know, that spicy ones. Horseradish, mustard seed. But we don't have all the spices. That's why the spice trade was so big and run by the Britons, because there was so much money. We've been eating spices for years. They don't season their food and shit. Remember the film Once Were Warriors? Yes, bro, I've just been talking about it. In the film, the Murrays were subject to the same Masonic court system as we are. Yep. The movie is designed to demonize the males as usual, but the state is kind. Oh, yeah, great point, my red poor man's Lee. Yeah, absolutely. It's yet another, and also demonizing the evil white males especially. But yeah. And the state was really kind because they sent some of these Maoris to a youth prison, right? And they teach them to be warriors and do their hackers and to try and be proud of themselves. Oh, the state's been really low. The state will look after you and be real kind to you. Yeah, right. They're all wrong, as I say. You should stick to your own food like your own kind. So what do you eat? Potato cakes, latkes, bagels? Tell us what your favorite food is, Mr. Schmoody. Yeah, so where are we at? It's 10:41. I'll give it another 20 minutes, right? Give it another 20 minutes. Now, obviously, anybody can give a super chat. So far, I've had 7 super chats, all from my boy Based Foxing. Can someone please tell me, this is what I want to know from this live. I want to know what the Porky video is when he exposes the Canada boxing guy. Because I spoke to him and been nice to him. And I even subscribed to his channel. And I even told him he can be on the channel. If he's a Fed, it's not happening, man. FTP. MSG, trace growth hormones, chemical food dyes. On how we make a 7-foot Ubermensch Chad. Yeah, definitely. What is MSG? Does that make you grow? Apparently, even though it looks to me like a chemical, it's actually in natural form, right? Like creatine. Creatine is an amino acid, and it's available in natural form, even though, you know, what you buy, you know, is just powdered. Okay, according to AI, MSG, monosodium glutamate, a flavor enhancer. It's a sodium salt of the amino acid glutamate acid, and it's known for its umami taste. It's a crystalline powder. Right, okay, that it's made by ferment. Okay, it has an organic origin, actually. I thought it was just chemical. It's made by fermenting starch, sugar beets, or molasses using microbes. So, I didn't realize that. But the problem is, they process it. Instead of making natural MSG, right, they process it and make it into powder. Ain't baby faux skins. Oh, I thought you meant AKA skins. I've heard of that. My favorite drink is Mike Malone. Canadian boxing is clearly a Fed. I just avoid. No, I am going to avoid. But now you guys have told me, Michael. Obviously, I trust you. But what I need to know, I want to see the video where he gets exposed, Porky's video, just out of interest. Yeah, I'm not going to have nothing to do with feds. I don't care what country they are. It's FTP, man. FTP. What about Chubby Porky crossover? That would be quite funny. Yeah, I've considered it. There was a time when I had a bit of a go at Porky and he got upset. The reason I had a go at Porky was A, because he come with that huge, ugly moron who looks like the English version of Mahmoudov, except uglier. And he looks like a downy, you know. Max Jenkins, the world's worst boxer. Imagine, I'd love to watch Max Jenkins Mahmoudov. I mean, it wouldn't last very long, but it'd be beautiful. Yeah. Apparently his gym mysteriously burned down and he fled the country. You remember I exposed him about how much debt he was in. I even rang his gym and asked to talk to him. He's a pussy hole. And he threatened me up. And he kept saying, it's not Max Jenkins, you know. I go, I know it's you. I've looked at your email. I found out that your email recovery is maxjenkinsfitness@gmail.com. I know this is you. I know this is you because you're an idiot. I give you my burner phone, which you're the only person who ever had that phone. And I got a call from Sonny Edwards, the one that I recorded. He's very lucky I didn't release. I mean, he bribed me £80 for it and came on the channel, so I let him off. But he should have bribed me a lot more because, believe me, if that had come out properly and I would have cleaned up the audio, that's in the Sun. Champion boxer makes homoeophobic, which obviously I don't care about. Mocks mental illness, suicidal people, and then he played the autism. Well, I'm actually autistic. When he got rumbled, yeah, like that fake Spencer. Everybody knows I'm autistic. No, they don't. You're not autistic. You're a liar. You also lied. Sam Stoller approached him and asked him why he was homoeophobic. He denied it and said he had a son who was a batty man, and then he later on said no, he didn't. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, I was backing Porky, especially when, you know, he's one of the channels I like to watch. I used to watch a lot, and but the two things that annoyed me was when he bullied Emperor Michael. Okay, and Michael's a wrong one, but still, I don't agree with bullying. With Max Jenkins, you remember Porky would run up to him with his great ugly Yeti with an IQ of 40, and that intimidated him. And you remember Porky was wearing what was he wearing? A leather jacket with a tracksuit. I quite like that look actually, but because of that, and because he did not expose Caldwell after I'd invested loads of time, and I'd also bigged up Porky, and I was waiting, and he kept on saying he put up posters. It was great, put up posters, but obviously he got intimidated. You know, for a guy, a supposed tough guy who's done 10-year behind door, to get intimidated by Devinder Caldwell, it doesn't, you know, it's not very impressive, is it? So I was a bit upset at Porky, but I do like it. Would we have a crossover? I don't know. What I did say to him, yeah, he said he wants to do a video with me. I said to him at the time, this is like 2 or 3 years ago, I said, yeah, but I have 3 provisos. Number 1, you're not to be on Brown because you talk too slowly. Number 2, it's live. It's got to be live. And number 3, I can't remember what number 3 was, but there was a number 3, and he refused all those conditions. So sorry, mate. You know, so you're too much of a coward to do a live, right? Because you're too worried about being so. Oh, I'm not dissing Porky, but that basically is as for that, you're not allowed to be on the Brown thing. I mean, that obviously is a bit of a joke, you know. You know, take the joke, but also when he, you know, there've been videos on him and he was talking real slowly on his bed, and he's obviously mashed up. Oh yeah, the Max Jenkins thing. Porky probably fell out with him now. He does seem to fall out with everyone eventually. Yeah. Porky and Emperor Michael with his big plates. But yeah. So Max Jenkins is mysteriously his gym disappeared in a fire. He had a lot of debt, and then he ran off to Malta, and apparently he's run off to Thailand. So he's obviously running from something, probably an investigation. Yeah. And he must owe a lot of money because he borrowed 80 grand, an 80 grand loan to set up his gym. It was failure. And I knew it fell. I rang it up and I recorded it. And I remember, hello, I pretended to be Indian. Hello, can I speak to Max Jenkins? And I want to do some training. And they said, oh, he's hardly ever in. And I was like, imagine that. You've got a business, but you don't spend any time there. You should be work. You should be full time there, training people. It's ridiculous. He obviously knows nothing about business. So he's obviously running away from debt and possibly he's been investigated for arson. Allegedly he had a crash in Thailand. I don't care about it. Michael Maloney. Porky's good boxing knowledge. Just don't have time for the video. Yeah, they're quite long, aren't they? And he doesn't have the skills, say, that Triple B has in terms of, well, grammar, vocabulary. But also like the little videos that I do, you know, for him it's just him filming on a camera, and sometimes he's lying in bed. He does a lot of videos, but I don't mind him. At least I wouldn't say he's based, but he's done some based stuff. Like, for example, as Bad Boy Randall says, Porky gave it to PC Gun. Yeah, that was a Porky video. It was great, man. He goes up to Gully at a show and films Hoover. I can't remember what he says. I haven't watched it in a bit, but I had to watch it a few times. I was laughing. Copper, you're a copper, aren't you? Or something like that. Porky don't like coppers. And I give big up to Porky as well, because, you know, there's it was in the Russ is his name, right? I've forgotten his surname, Perkins or something, but his name's Russ. And he got nicked by coppers when he hadn't done anything wrong. And I can't remember the exact story, but they were either rough with him or, you know, something. And I think he took them to court and won or something, or made a complaint. So big up to Porky for that. But yeah. So when he go on the channel, I don't know, man. I don't really see the point. I'm more interested in. I mean, he's got his channel, I've got my channel, and, you know, and we do our bit, you know. But I think he pushed the jibber jabber with Porky, so that also concerns me. But he's definitely based about the Popo. The Puritans were once extremely pious, albeit in schism, poisoned in the dissolution of God's created categories by the Russo-Prussian nations. I hope I'm not pronouncing this. All heresies came after Byzantium was looted. Yeah, you know a lot about you know, history, mate, and it's very complex. And this is the history they won't teach you. You know, they only teach you the history they want. And obviously, history is written by the victors. What's the time? 10:50. I've got to make sure I go to the gym. I remember when he threw his jacket on the floor, threatening Emperor Michael. Yeah, that was funny when he was wearing them. But, I mean, that was slightly cowardly, because he had the huge Max Jenkins. Oh, no, he can't fight, and he's awful. But, you know, just by being big, it's intimidating. You know, even though you can't fight a boxing or at MMA where you got KO'd in 15 seconds, just being big is enough to, like, pick someone up and throw them around, especially when they're 11 stones. But you remember Emperor, no, Porky, no, not here, Porky, in the wing, only in the wing, Porky. It's pathetic, man. Gully has no boxing knowledge. Sounds captured. Yeah, he's super captured. Hi, yes, I'm here with Kelbrook, and I'm just asking some questions. Yeah, he got 1 million subs in Endless Access. He bought them all. No channel blows up like that so quickly. The other ones that got found out. You remember Sporting Silicons? That one got found out. Yeah, they suddenly jumped from like 5,000 subs to 60,000 subs and all these views. They just buy it, but you get found out. That Robin, who works for the Vampire Squid, Miles Crouch Anderson, the YB. I forget, people say, oh, in the old videos, oh, you're just trying to be like the YB. I said, that idiot, not only did he copy my channel, the old channel, which is the same as this, yeah, he copied it completely. Yeah, he asked Sam Stroller to help him out with a video. Sam Stroller did, and he said, "Oh, I'll give you a big up," and he didn't. So that's why he got exposed, because he's a liar, he's a wrong'un, he can't fight, he's a bum, he's ugly, and his mother looks like a shriveled up white prune, and his dad is just bum. He's a bum as well. But yeah, Box Class goes, but Porky's preaching gets a bit irritating. Yeah, Porky, Cyborg. Porky sent me numerous Zoom mails, but always failed to show. The prison hard man. Yeah, but he refused to come on the live. He was. I said to him, he called me out on his channel. Hey, I'll come and do a video if you got the balls. And I said, oh, well, whatever he talks. Sorry, that's Tyson Fury accent. But, you know, I said, yeah, sure. As I said, no brown, and you have to be on the live. You have to be live. It has to be live. And the third one that I can't remember. But there was another proviso. But basically, the most important one was live, and he wouldn't do it. Too cowardly. The Second Roman Byzantium Empire's dissolution opened the floodgates of the mystery schools globally. to use credit and to use a death as prison. Yeah, check it out. There's some red pills there. Some big red pills from Lee. Complex ones, though. Shane, hey, Shane. How's your girl? Is she making you a nice sandwich? I hope she made you a nice fried breakfast this morning. Yeah. It was you, wasn't it, Shane? With Cursed, right? Am I confusing me? I'm a bit punchy. I had, I got my drink on with the champagne as well. Porky had that clown triple R. Never heard of barriers. Oh no, I'm not. We're giving that guy that nonce, that wrong, and any oxygen. He's a grass as well. Apparently, he tried to report the triple B to the Popo. Your so-called bad boy triple R. Anyway, I'm not talking about that idiot. He's a liar. He's a nonce. And I've got all the. He's deleted them now, but I've got all the stuff that he did, harassing young girls and being creepy with young girls at Easter Park. Yeah, the ones where he's talking to a young girl on the phone and starts talking about his Corey, and then he starts talking about the girl's young daughter and how much he wants to meet her young daughter. The one where he harasses a girl in the street, she's so scared she kind of looks down and runs away. The one where there's a bunch of Muslim women teenagers at the fair, and he's filming them and being creepy. He's a nonce. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about people like that. I refuse to give these guys energy. I've got Max Jenkins on Porky's Corner. I haven't watched since Davinda Caldwell, the Heat and the Underpants saga. Yeah, that's why I got disappointed, because Davinda Caldwell and those guys, Luke Smedley, Nicky Smedley. Luke Smedley is R.I.P. He developed a drug problem and died. I wouldn't be surprised if it's related to abuse, to childhood abuse. Yeah, and a couple of other boxers all came on saying how Davinda, and nothing has happened. He's obviously protected. Yeah, and Tony Bellend said, "Oh, I'd leave my kids with him any day of the week as long as I could." Yeah, right, Mr. Illuminati Bellend with a batty boy brother. I never watched Porky. Well, I don't. Yeah, a copper with press access. A copper with press access who's making money outside of being a policeman. I'm not sure, but I would assume that in a contract, a police contract, it says this is your only job. This you cannot, if you sign with big companies, in their contract usually says you can't do any external work. Sometimes that would include your own business, right? Obviously, you can't consult for other people and stuff like that. They put it in a contract, but I'm pretty sure the copper. I mean, how can you run a big company and you're police? Thoughts on Joe Stunner boxing? Never watched it. Random matchup. Butterbean vs John McDermott. John McDermott, definitely. John McDermott was a quality boxer. Yes, he was fat. Butterbean could bang a lot. He was also brutal, actually. Butterbean could be a bit of a bully. You remember, I'll tell you two things. The guy, that Jackass guy, he really went for him and knocked him spark out in that shop. And he really went for him. It was Jackass. Maybe he asked him to, but still. Butterbean could punch. And then there's that, what's the name of that WWE? WWE did this weird thing where they had real boxing matches. And the guy, what was it? The guy that they wanted to win got beaten by a lesser guy, right? Bart Gunn beat the guy they wanted to win. So what did they do? And then they threw him in. Now, obviously, he was very crude. He was not a boxer. He did about 6 weeks boxing training. They put him in with Butterbean. If I was Bart Gunn, I'd be like, what? That shows his guts or his stupidity. And he gets absolutely brutally ironed out by Butterbean, which he didn't have to do, he knew that Bart Gunn couldn't fight, and he took great pleasure in knocking him out. So Butterbean actually is not the big nice guy everyone says. He's quite vicious and a bully. But McDermott was a classy boxer. You remember Larry Olamabamu? Oh, Larry Olamabamu, huh? Yeah, he failed PED tests, and then we actually admitted how widespread it is. He probably grassed people up, and then he got back to boxing really quickly because he did some grassing. Right, and John, I was there at New York Hall, and I put money on McDermott by KO, and Olabamu, I was the favourite. He was a massive, muscular Nigerian guy. Well, obviously he was, because he was doing all the PDs. When he came back, he looked skinny and out of shape. But John McDermott, and I said John McDermott will plaster him, and he did. And John McDermott would have beaten what's his face, Butterbum. Most boxing channels are awful. I only watch you and Nordic Warrior. The rest are awful. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. But you're absolutely right. They are terrible. Most of them don't even know. Oh, actually, there are a few. Yeah, Owen Foster, Blue Collar Sports TV is quite good. I used to like Lee Talk Boxing, but he's disappeared under weird circumstances. My brother Sam Stroller exposed the fraud. If you don't backstab us, we do that. Yes, that's right. Porky got the Albanian starter kit, leather jacket, tracksuit. Yeah, but I thought it was quite funny. Gully's using Tyne as a loco. Is that locale or loco? I'm sorry, man. Ty's become his house snicker. Masons love their slaves. Yeah, that was weird. His whole the Tyne Booth series, but no one really cares about Tyne Booth. Oh, the cult leader. Well, that's so cringe. Oh, the cult leader, and the cult leader's going to Ireland. And he brought him to Morocco and Ireland with Prince Patel. And Prince Patel rinsed him. Fight film to an extent. But his name, someone doxed him. His name, is... So he's based to an extent, but he doesn't talk about certain communities. Why? Because he's one of them. I think his name's Zimmerman or something. Seen this YB, he talks endlessly. He's awful. He's so unfunny, and he tried to just copy the channel. As I said, I even helped it, via Sam Stroll, helped him out. That one IFL TV is annoying. Come on, Eddie, tell me what you're announcing next week. The announcement is mean. It's gone. Yeah, IFL TV is pathetic. I mean, the only reason I don't watch any of these channels. The only reason I watch IFL TV if there's something big happens. Like Coogan's not even a good interviewer. He's a brown noser. He's basically set up by Matcham. I know a guy who was pals with who's a guy who stitched up. What's the white guy who pieced up? James Helder, right? He stitched up James Helder. I know a guy who knows James personally. And James Helder's fuming at how he got stitched up because he thought him and Cassius were friends. Coogan. Yeah. And he used to say, Matcham basically funded us. We get all the best tickets to all the Matcham shows. So we bigged up Matcham a lot. So, that's how they made their channel. And you got to say well done to them. They saw it early and they went on. And it was originally called I Film London. It was a general channel. But then they got into boxing. What does that tell you? Well, they don't know nothing about boxing either. James Helder, yes. James Helder has boxed, albeit, I think, white collar. It doesn't matter. Yeah. My Chinese sailor, anyone who's got the ball step between those ropes is worthy of some respect for having done that, as opposed to all these shadow boxers. I used to see this guy in the gym, right? He's everywhere, and he was very athletic. And I seen him in a non-boxing gym hitting the bag, and I thought, wow, this guy's got some skills. He looks, and eventually he came to the gym to box. And he always used to walk around. He was quite a nice guy. But Cheney's calling me a shadow boxer. Mirror boxer, because he'd just sit there and he'd look good and all that on the bag and in the mirror. And when he'd walk out, he'd always tie his boxing gloves, right, to his bag so they hung out so everyone could see he was a boxer, right? But he never had a fight. He sparred a bit. I sparred him when I was a middleweight, maybe even under that. And people were laughing. He actually looked really good, but he didn't know anything about. He would move a lot on his feet, and he was athletic. But he just didn't know about. He couldn't understand how I was cutting off the ring. Cutting off the ring's easy. You just walk over. You just take a step over to the left or a step over to the right. I don't know why people just follow you around in boxing like that. To cut off the ring, and when someone's in the corner, it's really not that difficult. Anyway, and you did his head in, and people were laughing, going, just totally outboxing and bashed up this heavyweight. No, he was a super heavyweight. I'm not saying I'm not a great boxer. I'm just a club fighter. And he never had a fight. The mirror boxer. Anyway, I forgot why I'm talking about mirror boxers. But Coogan. He's never boxed, has he? Why is Coogan not boxed? Yeah. James Helder at least boxed at some level. Michael, his videos just ramble and exaggerate. Don't know why people watch. He can make his point 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes, yeah. Can you be an oil drill at Triple B while being based? Possibly a cafe latte driller, but I don't know, man, because there are actually some very based, people from the black community, loads of guys coming out and explaining who runs hip hop and why they were forced to push gangsters. So But as for oil drilling, it's not for the Triple B. I mean, I'd find it a bit weird. It's impossible to be 100% red pilled if you're an oil driller. Yeah, but you know, maybe cafe latte, possibly a cafe latte. I know a red pill dude in cafe latte. I like a bit of cafe latte now and then. I challenged the Triple Grapers to box. It got cancelled as venue deposit wasn't paid. Dude's just a weird. You can't fight. You've seen him. You batter him, man. It would be funny. Oh, my boy Shane again. Hello. She just left. Comes on every 2 weeks. What a curse. Is she just a friend? Or I mean, I assume she stayed. Is she just a side piece type thing? She sounded fun. It was good to see her on the channel. Kirsten Aldman come on the channel, you know? And she said, yeah, I am in the kitchen. So good on her, man. I hope she made you a nice food or nice sandwich, especially after a bunk up. I got a pal who said, you know, he ramped up, you know, he did a bit of oil drilling. You know, he'll drill anything. He goes, I don't care. Rice, curry. I'll drill it all, mate. And he goes, I like every food at the buffet. And he is red pilled, to be honest, but you know, he's not like Sonny. You know, you can joke about racial stuff, and you know, where Sonny will get on his high horse. But yeah, he said, you know, the funny thing is about black women. I said, what's that? He goes, after you've rumped them up, they always go and cook food for you. And I said, to be honest, that's pretty cool, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think no woman's cooked food for me after I've rumped them up. You know, imagine that you were rumping them up, you give them a good smashing, and she gets a few minutes for a kiss and a cuddle, get her breath back, and she's in the kitchen cooking you jerk chicken and jollof rice. Maybe I should get myself an oil well. Anybody curious about who the Red Shields used to evangelize Zionism? Secular J's looking at Parushim. Okay, that's a red pill. I'm looking at the time. Okay, I've got 5 more minutes and I got to go. I've got to go to the gym because it closes at a certain time. Coppers often hang around in disguise in amateur gyms. They're noticeable. Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah, they do all the time because you've got villains that hang out there as well. I sparred a copper and I gave him a good slap when I found he was a copper. And then he started talking about checking my. Honestly, then he started talking about checking my files and finding out my background. And I didn't slap him up like being a bully, but he was rubbish anyway. So many of these police boxers, you watch them, they're awful, dreadful. They can't fight without their mace gas and their friends. They cannot fight. And especially now, they're also feminized. That bomb deserves to be on a leash. He's finished. His fans have abandoned me. He only gets 150 views, he says. Who you talking about, bro? Which one are you talking about? There's a lot of people that are wrong, but yeah, tell me who you talk about. Dermot was a rubbish clearance business. Yeah, he was in Boxing News. Boxing News, by the way. I'm not going to big them up. I don't see why I should big them up because Rob Tebbets left, and it was real woke. There were 28 pages, over half of a mag, on women's boxing. I mean, but now they've started to print letters saying by people saying how whack women's boxing is. Mark Butcher was based on 3 counts. He called out betting and how it can influence boxing matches and crooked judges. Even though Boxing News app was very linked with Bet365. He called out how whack pro boxing was in women's. Yeah. He also called into question how odd it was that Marvin Hagler and George Foreman died, even though they had been so healthy until quite recently. So Mark Butcher was pushed out. And now Rob Tebbett, the failed actor who's done 1 film, idiot, he's gone. And so the latest, and I was about to cancel it. I was like, I can't. As I said, I like to read something in the bath. So I read it. But if I'm reading a book, I read that. But I used to read I used to read the Talmud in the bath. Just kidding, man. I used to have a tablet, and of course I knew it would happen. I put it on the side and I knocked it into the bath. So I read Boxing News in the bath, basically. But this issue is really good. And now Rob Tebbett's gone, maybe we're going to get a lot less. You know, it's not got not a single article on women's boxing. Not one single article on women's boxing. Yeah, which is great. The editorial is still full of typos. And Graham Houston, who looks like a nonce, by the way. I'm not saying he is a nonce. He looks like a nonce. Look at that. Would you like a Werther's original, mate? Come and sit on me lap and have a Werther's original. Probably hangs out with Dave Caldwell. But, you know, he's meant to be, this great. I think he used to be editor, right? Oh, he's meant to be the great boxing writer. He doesn't even know that much about boxing. He once wrote an article about Foreman, and he was going on, and Ali and other people, and talking about how their sons and daughters, and he talks about how, what was her name? Frida Foreman, or Georgia Frida Foreman or something, a woman. She boxed for a bit. I don't know how many fights she had. It wasn't a lot, right? And he mentions that. But then he doesn't mention, he goes, and then George's daughter, Frida Foreman, also fought as a professional. She's actually not that bad looking. Look. Hang on, let me get this one up. Oh, shit. I don't know what's happening with my phone. It's probably that. Oh, no. What? This must be a different Frida Foreman. Is it? Look. She's called Frida Foreman, but this is an obituary and a death notice. Surely that isn't the daughter of Frida Foreman, of George. Surely she hasn't died. Anyway, Graham Houston's going, oh, yeah. And even, you know, his daughter followed. She's dead. Frida Foreman died in 2019, age 42. I didn't know that. Obviously, I don't follow women's boxing. She's quite a pretty young thing if you're into oil drilling. Look. Plenty of people that oil drill her. I mean, imagine, right? If you've got Sugar Shane Fury, yeah? If you've got the breeding bull or Sugar Shane Fury or Tyson Fury to breed with Frida Foreman, you'd get a good heavyweight out of that. But she's died. How did she die? That's tragic. He's got loads of kids, George Foreman, and they're all called George. And even the females are called Georgetta. Wow, I had no idea. Anyway, Graham Houston was talking about, he said, and even her daughter, his daughter, George's daughter, followed her into boxing. Yeah. And she had a short career, right? So he mentioned Frida George Foreman. Right, here we go, look. 5 wins, so she had 6 fights, 5 wins, 1 loss. And she actually managed 3 KOs. She got George's power. So he mentions that. But Graham Houston, who's been in boxing for years, and professionally has worked in boxing for years, did not even mention who? George the Monk Foreman, who's a son of George Foreman, right? Who is an unbeaten heavyweight. And he had, I think, let's have a look here. Oh, there's a George Foreman from Congo. This George Foreman. This is George Foreman's son. Fucking adverts. Blood clot. Anyway. So George Foreman's son, George the Monk Foreman. Does he? Don't really look like his dad, does he? George the Monk Foreman. Fuck these adverts. George the Monk Foreman. 18 wins and 17 KOs. So Graham Houston didn't even know. Yeah, he mentions Frida Foreman, who only had 6 fights. He didn't even know about George the Monk Foreman, 6'5" heavyweight. Now, he went pro in 2009 and he beat only bums. Okay? But still, he could well have he retired in 2012 and now he's come back in 2024 with 2 KO wins. As I said, all he's beaten are bums, and I've seen him and he's very crude and everything. But, you know, look, you could easily sell George Foreman's son. How old is he now? Yeah, I mean, you can easily George Foreman's son, you could get him, you know, like Peter Benini, get him a few wins, get him a big fight, get him some money, and there you go. Because Foreman had loads of money, especially with his grills and all that, and they've expanded into all kinds of things. But you've got to remember, he's got so many kids, there's a lot of kids for that money to go through. So the Monk Foreman is 41 years old. So, yeah, I mean, you know. Right. My dad, hey, Trilby and everyone. Yeah, what's up, man? Peter, the way means nothing on the Trilby channel. Of course he's whack. He copied the old channel. He's a scumbag working for the Vampire Squid. Trilby needs to blow up again. I'm sure Davinder got more work since the sauna where he went up here. 73 degrees, baby. Creepy guy. Eddie from Billericay maybe on Epstein list. Well, Barry definitely was. I remember when it happened. One of my old channels. In fact, I had 2 channels banned before this. So, one of my oldest channel, I was one of the first people to point that out because I found an unredacted version of the phone list, and I went through it to see who was on it. I recognized a few people, some people that I've actually met as well. You know, society people. And I saw Barry Hearn, and there was loads of numbers there. And then so would Eddie be on it? Yeah, sure, man. Am I dead? It can't be a bit chubby live on Sunday. Head to mum's for Sunday lunch. Beautiful, man. Nothing like a Sunday lunch from your family, is it? I've got to go to the gym. I give it another 5 minutes. I hope you finish off my. Oh, well, obviously I've got to give some love to my boy Peter Richards. Thank you, brother. Hagler beat Sugar Ray Leonard easy, 4 rounds easy. I thought it was a very close fight. Leonard won the early rounds, Hagler the later rounds. Do you know what? I'm sorry, Peter, but I think Leonard edged it just. But, you know, and Hagler was 32 at the time, which was then considered old. Can you imagine that, boxing? And then he retired, and he became really super chilled out. He did a few films. He lived in Italy for a bit. You know, like Hagler, these the scowling. The press always like to make characters, and they lie. He's going about how, obviously, it could have been intimidating, Hagler, but, he's scowling, moody, and all that. No, you see him in interviews, and he's quite funny. Same thing with George Foreman. They go, he looks like a big thug, and blah, blah. You see George Foreman in interviews, you know, they want to push him as the huge, scary, big George Foreman, who's a nasty man and moody. But when you see him get interviewed, this is in his first career, right, when he was young. And he talked very well. He was very interesting. The press are pathetic. What are you working on at the gym today? I never actually work out specifically on something. I mean, you know, I don't have this day, that, then the other day, and I've never done leg day. Leg day is every day carrying around my fat ass. I'm about 15 stone now. I've gone up from 14. So in about 10 days. And that's partially food and partially because I've been in the gym. Yeah, I'll be hitting the bag. Yeah, hitting the bag. That's the main thing. And shadow boxing. I do a lot of boxing training. I'll pick up one thing I don't like doing, but I like. I try to force myself is core exercises and stomach exercise. The thing is, if you box properly and you know how to box on the bag and you're moving your body all the time, I mean, it doesn't look good because I'm sitting in a chair here, right? But if you saw me like moving, you move your body all the time, and your whole trunk is moving, you actually have a very good core workout. Leonard only fought for 30 seconds of each round at the end of each round. Yeah, I mean, he definitely played the game. I will admit that, Peter. I will admit that. And by the way, thanks very much for the beers as well, bro. But yeah, I will admit that. But still, when I watched it, I've only watched the full fight once, and I thought Leonard's winning the early rounds, Hagler the late rounds. I wouldn't have been. I hate draws, so I'm not going to say it could have been a draw. Draws, you can always. I think if you mark your card a draw, they should go back to go which one has the edge, because there's no way draws should be allowed in boxing. There's never ever a fight when it's exactly equal. It's nonsense, right? And it just ruins. Draws are unsatisfying to the boxers. They're unsatisfying to the crowd. No one's ever left a boxing fight because, I really enjoyed that draw. Do they? No. Right? But, Hagler, if they could have given it to Hagler like you think, but I thought Leonard won by 1 round, but it's only 1 round, I don't think I watched it again. It wasn't the most exciting fight. The fight that I enjoyed actually was Donny Lalonde, Sugar Ray Leonard. Now Lalonde was a big puncher. He had no left, didn't he? I think he had to have surgery. Well, that's the story anyway. He had a big right hand. He had his blonde mullet. He's done a lot for children. He's a lovely guy. He set up charities, and he put Leonard over. I think he won the title and defended the title against Leslie Stewart in Jamaica, in the middle of the day in Jamaica. Imagine they're thinking, right, yeah, they're white boy. He's white boy. He ain't going to take the heat in Jamaica, In the middle of the day of Jamaica, he fought outside against Leslie Stewart. You know they're setting him up. No way that white boy going to crumble in Jamaica and he, blood clot. And he knocked out Leslie Stewart. He had a great punch. But and Teddy Atlas claimed Teddy Atlas the whack training. I did a video on Teddy Atlas and I included a bit about Lalonde and the genuine Donny Lalonde, and why I know that because I looked at it and it went to the Donny Lalonde channel, put a very nice long comment on it, and he agreed that Atlas was a weird guy and a liar. He said, I can't confirm nor, because he reckons he held a gun to Tyson's head. I think that's a lie. He said, I can't confirm or no, I'm not sure. Teddy's a weird guy, but yeah, and I called him out because he lied in his book saying he waited. He waited about Lalonde's flat and he was going to shoot him. What a load of nonsense. Like, at the time, and I found out, and Lalonde said he didn't even know where I lived. He didn't even know where I lived. As if, like, the son of a lawyer, fake tough guy, the alleged Appalachian Golden Gloves champion, who's never had a single amateur fight, was sitting there with a gun waiting to shoot Lalonde. What a scumbag. Yep, no draws. All right, guys, I've got to go. Got to get ready for the gym. Thank you so much. As always, we have to say thank you to everybody who gave love. We got a lot of love from Base Foxing. Base Foxing 5, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. I haven't had it up, so I don't actually know how much that is. But it's very generous anyway. Of course, my man Shane Mongos, 33, treat 33, another treat 33. Very generous. Peter Richards very kindly would find. That's lovely. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. It's nice to do it at a different time. Big up to me, Aussie Funds. Like I said, all I want to know, put it in the comments. Because I'm putting in the comments, put a link or the name of Porky where he exposes Canada Boxing Channel. Please, I need to see that. Because, like I said, he's another guy that I was nice to and subscribed to, left a few comments because I thought, because he was very polite. But if he's a Fed, see ya. And I wouldn't want to be a FTP. All right, guys, take care. Peace in the Middle East. And the outro is going to be Jeff the Hitman Harding.
From Mr. Giovanni. The first one wasn't a bad punch. Good shot from the outside by Hardy, but here, this is weary betraying Nestor Giovanni.